The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Next guest will give you the laughs, just don't ask him to lend you money. It's Jack Benny coming up next.
Forces at Santa Barbara Redistribution Station, the Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny. Fasten your safety belt, batten down your hatch, and keep out of range, because here he comes, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking, and Don, that was a very unusual introduction. But during the last war, when I was on a ship, it wasn't batten down the hatch. It was batten down the hutch.
Batten down the hutch?
Yeah, things were so quiet, our admiral was raising rabbits. That's the first egg, you hutch it. Anyway, Don, it's wonderful being up here at the Santa Barbara Redistribution Station, isn't it? Huh?
Oh, it certainly is, Jack. You know, do you know what an Army redistribution station is, don't you?
Oh, of course, Don, of course. That's where they bring the boys to kind of feel them out to see if they'd like to be civilians again. You know what I mean, fellas? Don, yesterday one fella here volunteered to be a civilian, and this morning he begged to be back in uniform. Found out that a blue serge suit picks up everything but girls. Anyway, Don...
Now, wait a minute, Jack. You've got the whole thing wrong. A redistribution station is where they send the boys to be reassigned for further duty.
Oh. Gee, how can a big star like me, who almost won the Academy Award, be so stupid? Anyway, Don, come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yeah?
The boys stationed here at Santa Barbara have asked me to present you with this delayed action bomb.
The delayed action bomb? Why give it to me?
We've delayed it long enough.
It's a fine way for the Army to treat me just because I used to be in the Navy.
Oh, they were only kidding, Jack. In fact, you wouldn't have had a room last night if the Army hadn't control of the Biltmore Hotel here. You told me yourself you had a nice room.
Oh, the room was all right, but all night long a sentry with a rifle over his shoulder kept walking up and down outside my door. If they wanted me to pay in advance, why didn't they say so? You know. Anyway, another thing. Now, I don't like the idea of having those soldiers act as bellboys. The first time I ever walked into a hotel registered and was carried up to my room on the end of a bayonet. I felt like a pincushion, and I ain't got much cushion. Believe me, the next time...
Okay, fellas, you can laugh and relax because Harris is here with them dynamite cracks.
Oh, fine. Dynamite cracks. Phil, if you're such an ad-lib comedian, why didn't you get here at the start of the show?
Well, I would have, Jackson, but I was outside talking to a soldier about his post-war plans.
His post-war plan?
Yeah, so I asked him if she had a friend for me. Oh, Harris, you non-commissioned joy boy.
Dynamite crack. Well, those are the kind of jokes that would make Fred Allen go out and borrow some blood so he can blush. You know? And you know that...
What are you talking about, Jackson? I got talent. Why, I'm the main attraction at my new nightclub. Oh, yes, Phil, I meant to ask you. How's that new business venture of yours coming along?
Yeah, Phil, how is that joint?
Look, Jackson, don't call my nightclub a joint. I got a pretty classy layout there, you know. We got beautiful oil paintings on the wall, we got drapes on the window, and soft lights on the ceiling.
What do you got on the floor?
There, it used to be a barber shop.
A barber shop?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the barber's lease isn't up yet, so we're both operating in the same room.
What?
While I'm clipping them on one end, he's clipping them on the other.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of.
You know, yesterday a guy came in for a once-over lightly, and the barber steamed his face with my bar towel.
With your bar towel?
Yeah, it's the first time I ever saw a guy stagger home from a shave.
Phil,
That's our slogan, Jackson. Shave and a hangover, 2 bits.
Phil, I don't know how you get mixed up with all...
Hello, Jack. Hiya, fellas.
Hello, Mary.
Thanks, boys.
Mary, just stand there. Gee, you look beautiful. No wonder the Fashion Academy voted you the best-dressed woman in radio. What a lovely outfit you're wearing. What material, what lines, what style. What are those things hanging around your neck?
My shoes. My feet hurt.
Oh, well, I don't blame you. Sometimes I feel like doing the same thing, but my shoes never match my suit, you know? What's new, Mary?
Oh, not much, Jack. My mother sent you her regards.
Oh, did you call her?
No, I just got a letter from her.
Oh, another letter from your mother, huh? Well, what does your father's top sergeant have to say?
Here it is. My darling daughter, Mary, I would have answered your letter sooner, but Pop and I have been very busy on the farm with our spring planting. We just finished a few days ago, and already the field is full of corn. And by the way, how is Jack?
I don't get the connection there at all.
Anyway, we are enjoying this beautiful spring weather, and I guess it has affected Papa because yesterday he whistled at a girl.
Well, good for Papa.
I think he overdid it because we spent the next 3 hours looking for his teeth.
What enthusiasm.
Things are sure happening fast these days, and the draft board seems to be in an awful hurry. Last week, your cousin Bobby went down to take his physical, and today he just returned from New Guinea on a furlough.
Boy, that is fast, isn't it?
And oh, yes, Mary, I have some exciting news for you. Last Thursday, our whole gang went out for a drive, and your sister Babe and the boy she's engaged to were riding in the rumble seat. We hit a bump, and the rumble seat snapped shut.
My goodness.
We worked for hours, and we couldn't get it open. So we called the minister, and he married him through the keyhole.
Can you imagine that, huh?
Your cousin Bobby blew rice at him through a straw.
Oh, boy, what a family.
No other news. All my love, Mama.
That's very cute. What's that P.S., Mary?
Oh, Jack, you wouldn't be interested.
I would, too. Let me read it. P.S. I read in the papers, Mary, that you won the title of the best-dressed woman in radio. How could you possibly do it on what Jack pays you? Your mother hates me because I own the mortgage on her farm. Now, where's Larry? I want to
Here
talk.
I am, Mr. Benny.
Oh, hello. Well, hello, kid. It's about time now to do a song.
Okay, but before I do, Mr. Benny, I want to give you a little tip.
Tip? What is it?
You ought to go to Mr. Harris's nightclub. Wow, what fun!
Larry, you went to Phil Harris's nightclub?
Sure, and boy, was I dizzy when I left.
Dizzy? Phil, you didn't give this kid anything.
Don't get excited, Jackson. We just spun him around in the barber chair and sent him home.
Oh, go ahead and sing, kid. I'll have to visit that nightclub the next time I need a shave. sung by Larry Stevens. And now,
Hey,
fellas...
Jackson, I've been meaning to ask you, what's that thing you've been holding in your hand all this time?
This? Oh, nothing. It's just a delayed action bomb. The boys here presented me with it.
The boys here gave you a bomb?
Yes, they voted Jack, the comedian, most likely to go places.
Ha, ha, ha. Very funny. Come in. Yes?
There's a man out in the hall, and he wants to see you. His name is Allen.
Allen?
Jack, I didn't know Fred Allen was in town.
Neither did I. He just wants to get in here so he can louse up my program.
Look, Jackson, if Fred Allen is outside, why don't you let him in? The boys here'd like to see him.
Well, I don't blame him. With those bags under his eyes, he looks like he's wearing a fatigue skin. Look, Bud, go tell that guy in the hall to get going or I'll punch him in the nose.
Oh, I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, send him in and I'll punch him in the nose myself. Send him in, will you?
Okay. You can come in, mister.
Okay, Allen, you asked for it, so... Hey, wait a minute. You're not Fred Allen.
No, I'm Allen Ladd.
Allen Ladd? Well, Allen Ladd. The guy in pictures that's supposed to be so tough, huh?
What do you mean, supposed to be? Go ahead, Jackson. Punch him in the nose like you said you would.
No. He's shorter than I am, you know.
Don't let that stop you. I'll hit you so hard you'll be foolish to bounce back.
Oh, yeah? Now, wait a minute, tough guy. Who do you think you're talking to, huh? Who do you think you're talking to?
Jack Benny.
Gee, everybody knows me. Gosh, I'm so popular.
Yeah, you're just as I thought, Benny. You're a coward.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just been listening to $10,000 worth of talent.
Never mind, Mary. I'll handle him. You know, Alan, you think you're pretty quick on the trigger, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Hold on to your hats, kids. Here we go again.
Wait a minute, Phil. I want to settle this thing right now. Look here, Alan. Nobody sent for you. You butted in here and started this whole thing. What's the idea of calling me a coward?
Because you're yellow.
That's a liver condition. Anyway, what'd you come in here for? You play tough guys in the movies, and this is a comedy program.
Oh, yeah?
Now cut that out.
Well, Jack, I'm only kidding. I happen to be in town, so I thought I'd drop over and say hello.
Oh, you were kidding now. Well, that's different. I'm glad now I didn't hit you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in our sketch tonight, I will once again play the part of that famous, fearless, crime-busting master detective, Captain O'Benny. Phil, you'll be my assistant officer O'Harris, and Mary,
Yes, sir.
you'll be the wife of the murdered man.
Is he dead yet?
Not yet, but he's at the 7 Seas getting a little stiff. Now, let's see, who can be the murderer? Hey, I got an idea. Allen Ladd. Say, Allen, the murderer. I've got a great part for you. How about it?
Oh, nothing doing, Jack. I'm kind of tired. I just finished making a picture Paramount called Salty O'Rourke, soon to be released at all the neighborhood theaters. Men in half uniform, half price.
Oh.
And you can best enjoy this picture by sitting in the balcony smoking a Lucky Strike cigarette.
Don.
Let him alone. He's talking about my picture.
Oh.
And he will rave about this picture while smoking a Lucky Strike because Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Don.
So round, so firm, so fully packed.
Don.
Let him alone. He's talking about my picture.
Oh.
So free and easy on the draw. Thank you, Don.
You're welcome, Alan. Imagine coming here just to plug his picture. Now, let's get back to our sketch. And look, Alan, I'm still willing to give you the part of the murderer, if you can handle it.
What do you mean, if?
Well, the murderer in this sketch has got to be a pretty tough guy, and I don't know whether you're the right guy for it.
Hey, are you kidding? Let me tell you how tough I am. A couple of days ago, I walked up to Humphrey Bogart, grabbed me by the collar, and said, "Listen, Bogey, Hollywood ain't big enough for both of us, see?"
And what happened?
Well, here I am in Santa Barbara.
that you've got in your hand?
Bogart's car hit me so fast I didn't have time to let go.
Well, don't worry about it. He must have other ties. Anyway, Alan, I'm sure you'll be all right for the part, and we'll do this sketch right after Phil Harris plays... There's the phone. I'll take it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
Rochester, I thought you were going to be here at noon.
I would have, boss, but I had trouble with the car.
Well, what is the matter? Couldn't you start it?
No, I couldn't stop it.
Rochester, don't tell me you had another accident.
Uh-huh.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Is my car damaged much?
I don't know, but if the post-war car has the engine in the rear, you're all set.
Oh, Rochester, this is terrible. What did you hit?
The First National Bank at the corner of 4th and Main.
Rochester, the First National Bank is on 3rd and Main.
Not anymore.
You mean you ran into a building? How in the world could you do that?
Well, I was driving down Main Street and I stepped on the gas to make a light.
Did you have a green light?
No.
Don't tell me the light was red.
No, but I found out one thing.
What?
That middle light ain't for heavy amber.
You mean as you went across, the light changed?
Uh-huh, and coming from the north was a Greyhound bus, and coming from the south was a big truck.
Oh, my goodness. Where's my car now?
Any particular part you'd like to know about?
Oh, that's awful. My car must be smashed to pieces, and after what I paid for it.
But, boss, aren't you even going to ask how I am?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry I was so thoughtless. How are you, Rochester?
I'm fine. How are you?
That's what I thought. Now, where are you calling from?
Well, this may surprise you, boss, but I'm in a phone booth.
In a phone booth? What's so surprising about that?
I didn't get out of the car yet.
Rochester, I'll talk to you when I get home. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Every time you take the car out alone, something happens. Play, Phil. Now, as I'm beginning to see the light played by Phil Harris, who just opened his eyes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the air, we will present our blood-curdling drama filled with mystery, murder, and suspense, entitled The Woman in the Window, or It's a Good Thing the Venetian Was Blind. Don't hutch that one, brother. As our scene opens, I, Captain O'Benny, and my assistant officer O'Harris are prowling around Santa Barbara in a police car. A quiet night, isn't it, O'Harris?
Sure is, Captain. There's not a soul on the street.
Yeah, but there have been complaints that the people of this town aren't obeying the new midnight curfew.
They're not.
No, they're acting just the same as they always did. Still going to bed at 9 o'clock. Say, you know, we ought to...
Calling all cars. There's been a murder. And here's the address where the murder was committed.
But before we give you the address, here is a message from our sponsor, the Benzine Blackjack Company. Policemen, are your blackjacks getting sluggish? Do they sound dull when they land on a skull? They do? Then why not try our product? If you use a Benzine Blackjack, you're sure to get ahead. And now for the address.
The murder took place at 116 Serrano Avenue, which is right next to the Hacienda de la Caballero Don Juan Ranchero Amigo Cafe. I know that place, Captain. Let's get going.
Okay, Hacienda de la Caballero Don Juan Ranchero Amigo Cafe. What does that mean?
That's Spanish for get the rum out of your Coca-Cola, fellas. Here comes the MP.
Oh, well, come on, let's go.
Okay, Mon Capitan. This is the place, Captain.
All right, you stand guard here. I'll go inside. How do you do? I'm Captain O'Benny, and I'm here to investigate a murder.
Well, come on in, big boy. What took you so long?
Huh?
Come on in, baby. I'll shut the door and we'll be cozy.
Okay.
Be careful, Captain. It may be a trap.
If this is a trap, just call me Booby. Remley nearly killed that for me. Now keep your eyes open for clues. And now, young lady, I've got some questions for you.
Good, Chiefy. I've got some answers for you.
Oh, you have, eh? What's your name?
Just call me Cookie.
Never found anything like this in Grandma's cookie jar. Now tell me what happened.
Well, my husband was murdered. Some low-down, dirty sneak climbed in the window and shot him in the back.
Now, wait a minute. How could a man reach such a high window?
I gave him a boost.
I knew he couldn't do it himself. I could solve this case if I could only find the man who came through the window.
You don't have to look any further, Copper. Up with your hands.
What?
You heard me. Stick up your hands.
Is this a robbery?
No, I just want to see if you use Jergens lotion.
Oh, you do, eh? Well, put away that gun.
No, I have a lot of fun with this gun. Look, I'll show you. Now, you, Cookie. Come over here and give me a kiss.
Me?
You heard me, Cookie. Come over here and kiss me or I'll shoot.
Okay. Say, what do you need a gun for, handsome?
Not bad, huh?
Bad? Why, your kisses are like champagne, like caviar, like filet mignon.
Champagne, caviar, filet mignon. If you think that's something, baby, I'll show you a real kiss. Here. Yeah, how was that?
One meatball.
Is that so? Well, listen, sister. I used to be the best. Hey, I got it now. You two are partners in this crime. You wanted your husband murdered to get the famous Van Dusen pearls. Now, what's that you're wearing around your neck?
My shoes. My feet hurt.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Anyway, sister, I'm going to run you in.
Wait a minute, Blue Eyes. You talk to her like that, and I'll punch you right in the nose.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a transcription of an earlier broadcast.
What?
And it wasn't good the first time.
Cut that out. Now, come on, you two. I'm taking both of you to jail.
Oh, no, you're not.
Ha, ha, ha! You missed me twice. Now, come on. Let's go.
Hey, Captain, I heard gunshots.
Yes, and here's the guy with the gun.
How do you like that? I ran in the wrong direction.
Come on, Harris. We're going to drag this guy in.
Wait a minute, Captain. Don't lock me up. Don't lock me up, please. Give me another chance. I'll never do it again. I swear I won't. I'll go straight from now on. I tell you, I'm not really bad.
Ah, you're not, eh?
Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Put down that bean blackjack.
What?
Give me a break. Give me a break, Captain. I'll do anything you say. Anything. Anything. Boy, if this performance doesn't win next year's Academy Award, I'm quit.
Oh, for heaven's sake, you spoiled our whole sketch. Come on, Mary, put on your shoes and let's go.
Jack will be back. Tales of Espionage are coming at you with CounterSpy next.
The National Broadcasting Company presents CounterSpy.
Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy. Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy.
Harding, CounterSpy, calling Washington.
United States counterspies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
These CounterSpy reports to the American people are brought to you each week at this time. Now, the case of the captured contact.
Hello, Mr. Harding? Mr. David Harding?
No, this is Mr. Harding's assistant, Harry Peters.
I am calling from Baltimore. I must speak to Mr. Harding in person. Did he not receive my letter?
Who is this, please?
I signed the letter only with the name Roland.
Just a moment. Harding speaking.
Mr. Harding, this is Roland. You received my letter, no?
I'd like to know who you really are.
Full details I cannot give over the telephone, but I give a name, Dr. Maximo.
Dr. Maximo?
Yes. I have been in your country lecturing on bacteriology. My real purpose was something else, and now I realize I have been making a terrible mistake for years.
Yes?
I can correct it only one way, to tell everything to the United States counterspies.
Well, you're only 45 minutes by train from Washington.
Oh, no, I dare not move from this hotel room. My life.
What hotel?
The Gainsborough, room 819.
Huh?
I beg you to come, Mr. Harding. What I must tell you is of the first importance.
Well, I'll see about it, Dr. Maximo. Goodbye.
Mr. Harding... Young lady, this is Mr. Jones in room 819. You have I believe it is called a house detective. Mr. Blaine is his name. I believe my life is in danger. Would you please ask him to come to my room at once?
And I say to you, comrades of this International Congress for Peace, our chief enemy in the world is America. Its ruling circles are composed of nothing but warmongers, imperialists, slaves of Wall Street, and enemies of the peace-loving democratic nations of the world.
Oh, that's the end of the record, I guess, Chief. Be glad, Chief. What's the date on that?
July 12th, 3 years ago. Made by our Paris attaché during one of those fake peace congresses held by Iron Curtain followers in Paris.
Well, I'll play a bit of our phone conversation with Dr. Maximo tonight.
Yep.
Hello, Mr. Harding? Mr. David Harding?
No, this is Mr. Harding's assistant, Harry Peters.
I am calling from Baltimore. I must speak to Mr. Harding in person. Did he not receive my letter?
The same, boy.
Who is this, please?
I signed the letter only with the name Roland.
Yes, that's the same man. Don't you think so, Peter?
Sure, it's the same fellow.
Well, here's our file jacket on him. Roland Maximo, graduate of the University of Catania in 1911 at the age of 22.
Makes him 62 now.
Yeah. Became full professor of medicine specializing in bacteriology in 1919.
Right after the First World War.
Secretly joined the International Revolutionary Movement the following year.
And that's the man who's been in this country for months, lecturing from coast to coast.
On bacteriology.
Routine reports on his lectures here, Chief. They say he'd end every lecture with a plea against bacteriological warfare. In the same breath, accusing us of planning to use it. I'm amazed he got away with it, Dave.
Well, this was all before the Cold War turned hot. Well, Peters, if this man is ready, as he says, to turn against his masters in Catania, we'd better go see him.
Oh, we can still easily make Baltimore by midnight, Chief.
Well, I had the Baltimore field office send over a man meanwhile. But let's hop.
You, mind my asking, Mr. Jones, what kind of danger your life's in?
I have been threatened. Have you the time, Mr. Blaine?
It's 10 past 11. I oughtn't to be sitting here in your room all night. I'm a house dick. My spot's in the lobby, keeping an eye out for bookies. Bookies? A horse player and other kind of unwelcome riffraff.
Oh.
You a racketeer? Some kind of hotshot?
Hotshot?
Yeah. Or say, hey, maybe you're a squealer. You're going to rat on your pals and they want to knock you over.
Yes, Mr. Blaine. You might say I'm going to squeal and that my pals want to knock me over.
Hey, what's that? It's fire. There's fire in the joint.
Mr. Blaine, wait.
I'd say there's fire. I gotta go see. You hear them all yelling?
Mr. Blaine, I beg you, do not leave the room.
You wait, I'll be right back.
Mr. Blaine!
Hello, Ellery. What are you doing in the lobby? I wanted you up in room 819 with Dr. Maximo.
When I got here, Mr. Harding, the whole hotel was in an uproar. They said fire, and the fire chief wouldn't let me in, CounterSpy or not.
Fire, Ellery?
8th floor. Just now they found out it was a false alarm.
False alarm. Come on, room 819. Come on, Peters, Ellery. Call the house detective, Peters.
No. No use. 3 bullets.
I'm Harding, Dr. Maximo. Who did this?
I did not see. Door opened. I don't know. More important, my confession. You must catch my contact. Will lead you to everything.
Your contact, yes.
Name?
Yes, his name.
George.
George what? Where?
Never told last name. Only George. Small man.
Yes, small man, but what city? Where?
Left eye.
Left eye? What about it?
Left eye.
They've silenced him for good, Mr. Harding.
Yes. And we've got to find a man called George with something unusual about his left eye. One man among 150 million people.
Listen, Eddie, this is the rest of what Mama writes.
Yeah?
It came this afternoon, special delivery. Next week, your father has to be in Buffalo for a meeting of his fraternal organization. And if we could drive through Columbus, we could spend the weekend with you and Edward.
The weekend? Well, I can stand it if they can, baby. Your old man's a pretty good kegler.
Kegler?
Bowler, fancy word.
Oh. What kind of a day at the shop?
Blueprints, as usual. What's for supper?
I almost forgot. You going to be on the road again next week?
No, hon, but I've been talking with Sam about a good chance for a blueprint shop over in Cobbsville. Going to be a big industrial town. I thought we ought to open up there, get in on the ground floor.
Cobbsville? Gee, we don't know anybody there.
Well, not definite yet anyway. And anyway, what's for supper?
Salisbury steak.
You mean hamburger.
Oh, maybe that's Claire Siegel. I saw her at the market. She said maybe she and Herbert...
I'll brush her off.
Only do it nicely, Eddie.
Hello?
Hello, George.
Oh, yeah.
This is Arthur.
Oh, hiya.
I have just had some good news from Baltimore.
Yeah?
You won't have to move to Cobbsville. You won't have to leave Columbus. You're quite safe here.
Oh, fine.
I shall be in touch with you soon for further assignments.
Okay, Arthur.
Don't use my name. Goodbye, George.
Yeah. So long.
That wasn't Claire Siegel, was it, Ed?
Oh, no, it was a fella I was in touch with on this Cobbsville business, but he says forget it. How soon is that Salisbury hamburger going to be ready?
There are the lights of Washington, Chief.
Well, it's obvious, Peters. Dr. Maximo's ex-comrades found out he intended to talk to us and pulled that fake fire alarm as a cover for liquidating him. Now, the next most important man to get is this George.
With the strange left eye. How do we find George?
Well, as Dr. Maximo traveled around lecturing, posing as a friendly scientist, he must have been reporting on the progress of American research in bacteriological warfare.
Then George must have been a contact who met him from time to time on his travels.
Yeah, that's it. The moment we get back to Washington tonight, we'll lay out on a map the exact itinerary Dr. Maximo followed.
We've got the itinerary laid out, Chief.
Quick work. Get any sleep last night after we got back?
About an hour. Lucky you. Here's the map room, Dave. Now, each pin on the map here represents a stopping place. Now, the dates of arrival and departure for each location are on the flags.
Landed New York, August 29th.
Mm-hmm. And here's the typed-up schedule of the modes of travel that Dr. Maximo used.
Itinerary took him coast to coast and back. Stopped in, 5, 10, 20, 22 places.
All either universities or industrial towns with important research labs.
I'll tell you what, Peters. We'll prepare a directive to our field offices in these 22 localities. We want the details on everything Dr. Maximo did. Everybody he saw. In each place.
Maximo was a bacteriologist, Chief. His information was technical. Now, it follows that the contact had to know something about bacteriology. Maybe he had to make copies, microfilm, or blueprints.
Yeah, right. Well, list all bacteriologists in the country. Every research laboratory with employees present and past, even the clerical staffs. Then we'll cross-check that list against the list we get of people Dr. Maximo met. And somewhere among all these people, we've got to find George.
You are listening to the case of the captured contact on CounterSpy. The chimes are your invitation to a bright Sunday evening lineup over most of these same NBC stations tonight. Tallulah MCs another gala broadcast of The Big Show. The Phil Harris Alice Faye Show brings you more delightful adventures. And then Hedda Hopper presents dramatized stories of the stars. Now, back to CounterSpy.
Good morning, Dr. Phillips. My name's Taylor, United States CounterSpies. We're making up a national directory of all personnel in bacteriology in case of a national emergency. Now, I wonder if you'd mind helping us out.
Hello, Professor Thorne. My name's Ellery, sir, United States CounterSpies. I've just arrived in Locust City. I'd like to come out to the university laboratory. Good afternoon, Mr. Zachary. Taylor, CounterSpies. You've got a large technical staff here in your company laboratories, and we're making up a directory. That's fine, Dr. Loomis. Now, if I could see your past... Much obliged for your cooperation, Professor Marks. Just one more thing. About this man, George Rackett, who worked here as a laboratory technician 3 years ago. Can we examine into him a little more, sir?
Well, there's the whole list, Mr. Harding. The names only.
Well, the facts about them?
On a card file out in my office. They're to be punched for automatic sorting.
Well, have we got the dope on which of these were actually in the area of Dr. Maximo's trip at the time they made it?
Yes, Chief. That's one of the classification symbols. Now, the cards will be ready for the machines by early tomorrow morning, I'd say.
All right, we'll run them off then.
I'm setting the machine now, Chief.
Well, first, anybody whose first, middle, or last name is George.
Right.
And second, who were in the area of Dr. Maximo's trip?
Symbol 7.
Third, those with eye trouble, the left eye especially. All right, shoot.
Of course, even at this speed, Chief, it'll take some time. There are thousands of cards. "78 cards called out, Chief."
All right, now classify by areas and shoot them out to the agents in charge. But, Peters, the trouble is, George is most likely not a real name at all, but a code name.
That's a cheery thought.
Morning, madam. My name's Taylor. I'm from the New Orleans City Directory, checking on all inhabitants. I understand you have a tenant here named George Sperry. Works for the university laboratory.
Excuse me, Mrs. T.J. George. I'm from the local civil defense organization. My name's Ellery. We're looking for volunteer aircraft spotters.
All very interesting, Chief. Adding up to nothing.
Every one of those 78 have clean records?
Well, one fellow used to work at a lab in Kansas City. He turned out to be a minor embezzler from Philadelphia. Another man was an escaped convict. 2 others were aliens who entered the country illegally. 11 of them met or heard Dr. Maximo, but not one has a single questionable association.
And all of these, named George, who were in that area, had some trouble with the left eye.
Well, it kind of washes out there, Dave. Most of these people wear glasses, and most of them, the left eye is weaker than the right. One man's practically blind in his left eye, but he's 71 years old and stone deaf.
Well, this eye business bothers me. There's a chief identifying fact that came to Dr. Maximo's mind. Peters, instead of looking for George by name and profession, let's look for him through the eyes.
Oh? You mean through oculists? Opticians? Eye doctors? Clinics?
Well, if a man's left eye is so noticeable, it's fair to suppose that he consults somebody about it.
This job gets bigger and bigger, Chief.
Well, incidentally, include the manufacturers of artificial eyes on that checklist.
Okay. The eyes have it.
Hiya, baby.
Hello, Ed. Tough day?
6 of one, 6 of the other.
How about a movie tonight, huh?
Aw, honey. I'll get it, hon.
Okay, do that, Eddie.
Yeah, hello?
George,
Yeah.
this is Arthur.
Oh, hiya.
An important job for you, George. In Washington, D.C.
Oh?
A meeting. It's very dangerous, but it's necessary. I am leaving here tonight. You get a train tomorrow afternoon.
Well, when does the customer expect to see me?
Tuesday, but...
Tuesday? Well, then what's the point of my going tomorrow? I'll leave Monday.
You're supposed to take orders without question, George.
Well, you know I've got this trouble with my eye. I've got an appointment with an eye doctor Monday morning. Been trying for weeks to see him. And...
Well, in that case...
where'll I find you?
You'll have to go to the Hotel Finlay. Register under your own name. We'll meet after that. That is all.
Hotel Finlay. So long. Hon? Washington next for me. Big deal.
Good morning. Name's Taylor, CounterSpies. I understand you're the leading optician in Kansas City, and
Yes, Mr. Strauss, we're checking all oculists in this section. In case of national emergency, any man with medical understanding might... Oh, by the way, have you any patrons with really serious trouble in the left eye?
I know you're a busy man, Dr. Choate. I just arrived in Columbus this morning, and I understand you're the top eye man in the city.
40 years at it, young fellow.
Well, this is highly confidential, Dr. Choate. But have you a man patient who's a bacteriologist?
Bacteria? No, nothing like that.
Maybe a man who once worked in a research laboratory on bacteriology?
No, not as far as I know. Nearest thing to a lab worker on my list is Edward Stringer.
Oh?
His left eye, well, it's really strange. Muscles of the lid are so weak his left eyelid's practically closed all the time. Only he's no bacteriologist. Understands a lot about medicine, for a layman, mind you. But he's a partner in the Red Arrow Duplicating Company.
Red Arrow Duplicating?
Yes, photostats, blueprints, and so forth.
Oh. Thanks very much, Dr. Choate.
C.S. Taylor on assignment, Columbus. Continue check on Edward Stringer. Peters and I flying to join you.
And this Edward Stringer's been married 7 years, Mr. Harding. No children. 5-room, 2-story frame house on Hawthorne Road. Age 33. Wife Alice, age 30, from Utah.
Yes, go on, Taylor.
I've had no chance to get a look at Stringer, but Dr. Choate says his left eyelid is almost fully closed all the time.
Oh, anybody would remember that.
Yeah, well, go on, Taylor.
Well, Stringer and a man named Samuel E. Carpenter together own a blueprint and photostat shop, number 16 Harper Street. In business 4 years. Stringer's traveled a good deal, according to Carpenter.
Well, you didn't explain your interest, I hope.
Oh, no, sir, no. Well, what I did is I arranged with the airlines here to appear as their representative.
Oh.
That way I could ask how much the partners traveled, and where to, and so on.
Smart gag, Taylor.
Well, according to Carpenter, Stringer does the traveling for the pair, handles good-size orders outside the city. Sam Carpenter mentioned half a dozen cities, and every one of them was on Dr. Maximo's itinerary.
Well, does Stringer know anything about bacteriology?
Well, Carpenter said that was one of their business assets, Mr. Harding. Stringer majored in bacteriology at Hillman College. He never graduated, but kept up his interest.
I see.
You see, that makes their shop useful to firms with technical documents to be duplicated.
Well, that's a good job, Taylor. We're getting hot, Peters. One more visit to Sam Carpenter. He'll know where Edward Stringer is, and we close in.
And now there's a new and very important assignment for you, George. Right here in Washington.
What'll it be, Arthur?
I'm soon to go home. You are to take my place as chief of contacts. Today and tomorrow, as the others arrive in Washington, they will come here to you, in one pose or another. And there is only one matter.
Yeah?
That eye of yours. It is so easily remembered.
I guess so, and it drives me nuts myself, but I got a doctor back in Columbus. He says he can fix it. Take maybe 6 months, eye exercises, maybe even an operation, but...
Hey, you expect anyone, George?
Maybe it's a chambermaid. I'll tell her to come back later. Oh, yeah?
Edward Stringer?
Yeah.
Mind if we come in? Come on, Peters.
Hey, just a second.
Close the door, Peter.
Got it.
We're United States CounterSpy, Stringer.
We'll have to ask who this other man is.
Stringer, you have a right not to speak at all.
I know, but, well, it's all over, isn't it?
Yes, it is, George.
Okay. I always expected to get caught. This man has been my boss. He's called Arthur. That's all I know about him. I'll tell you everything else you want to know, all about everybody, even help you catch him.
You fool. You traitor.
You've got it wrong, Arthur. He's a traitor to us, not to you.
Me a traitor? I've been working for peace.
What?
Make the other side just as strong as the United States, and then neither side will dare go to war.
Oh, Stringer, how sick can you get?
You've got something there, Peters. It's a question whether a man like this belongs in a penitentiary or a hospital for the mentally ill. Anyway, both of you, you're now under arrest by the United States government.
You've just heard another CounterSpy report to the American people, brought to you each week at the same time. Next week's report, the case of the double-crossing defender. Tonight's CounterSpy program originated in New York, was directed by Marks B. Loeb, dramatized by Paul R. Milton, and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer. Lionel Rico speaking. CounterSpy is a Phillips H. Lord production.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Hey, man, how about we check in with Fibber, Magee, and Molly next? That sounds good to me.
The Pet Milk Program with Fibber, Magee, and Molly. The first evaporated milk, Pet Milk, presents Fibber, Magee, and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, Dick LeGrand, Tyler McVeigh, Danny Richards Jr., and me, Harlow Wilcox. The show is written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. There comes a time in the life of every pet milk baby when he outgrows the bottle. But he never outgrows pet milk. And that's good news for mothers because it means that if yours is a pet milk baby, you need have no weaning problem at all. Your baby's always liked pet milk in the bottle, so naturally he'll like it in the glass. And what an easy way to be sure that he'll continue to get all the nourishing milk substances and vitamin D that mean steady growth, sound teeth, and strong, straight limbs. According to doctors, a growing child should have at least a quart of milk each day. And over a period of weeks or months, that will cost quite a little money. That's why we think it worthwhile to remind you that pet milk, which helps keep so many youngsters sturdy and happy, costs less generally than any other form of milk. Get Pet Milk at your grocer's tomorrow. Many years ago in Peoria, Illinois, a small active boy with a large active mouth won the annual Soapbox Derby in his own little homemade racer. Well, that boy is not as active now as he once was, of course, but listen to the mouth as we join Fibber, Magee, and Molly.
When I seen this in the paper, Molly, about him running the Wistful Vista Soapbox Derby tomorrow, I says to myself, ah-pa-ta, I says.
A very intelligent comment, dearie. Meaning what?
Meaning what do kids these days know about building soapbox racers anyway? Why, when I was a kid, I could take an old cantaloupe crate, nail 4 pie tins on it for wheels, grease them with a stick of butter, and barrel down Main Street Hill faster than you could holler, look out for the open manhole.
Ah, those happy childhood days.
Yeah, I had quite a reputation as a builder of soapbox racers in them days, Molly. I'll never forget old number 9.
Number 9?
Yeah, that was my championship model, old number 9. The one I finally won one with. Finished building it at 1 minute after 2 on May 3rd and won the race by 4 lengths in 5 minutes and 6 or 7 seconds at the age of 8. My lucky number 9. Should I try that backwards?
What was the prize? What was the prize, dearie? 9 life insurance policies for your cat?
No, $10 and a new bicycle.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's what I thought till I rode past your house on the bicycle to show off. I rode no hands smack into a tree and picked myself up no teeth. I was so healthy though in them days they grew back in again.
Including those fillings?
No. This is my 3rd set, thank goodness. My 2nd set grew in with the molars in front.
I see. Well, that's what my folks meant, I guess. They always said you were a backward lad in those days, dearie. But I claimed that you were...
Come in. Well, look who's here. Dr. George Gamble, physician in Sturgeon. And the best friend I could have in the world, if I happen to own a mortuary. Come on in, Fatso.
Hello, Molly.
Hello.
And thank you for that charming tribute, Picklehead.
Don't let him fret you, Doctor. If Magee didn't like you so much, he wouldn't talk to you that way.
Well, if wanting to insult someone is a sign of tender affection, I'm nuts about him, too.
Say, you look a little weary, Doctor. Had a rough week?
Yeah, rugged, Molly. I'm going fishing for a few days, though, and that ought to fix me up ship-shape.
You're already ship-shape, Doctor. The shape of a ship. A stern wheeler.
Oh, now, Magee, that isn't a very...
Oh, I don't mind him, my dear. With him, it's purely defensive.
What do you mean defensive? I'm as offensive as you are.
I'd say more so, even.
Well, I simply mean that he has...
Come in.
Hi, Mr. Magee. Hi, Miss Magee.
Oh, hi, Teeny.
Hi, Dr. Gamble.
Hello, Teeny.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought I'd drop in, Mr. Magee. You're always so nice to little children. And I want to ask your advice, too, I betcha.
It's never necessary to ask Mr. McGee's advice, Teeny.
No.
He throws it around like spaghetti at a Roman picnic. And it can get you just as messed up, too.
What kind of advice do you want, Teeny?
Yeah, ask me anything, sis. Old Uncle Fibber, the question and answer man.
The question being, does he know any answers?
Well, you're so nice to little children, Mr. Magee, and you can fix things so dandy. And Willie Toops is building a soapbox racer to get in the soapbox derby, and, well, I thought if you would tell me how to make a racer, too, so I could race tomorrow.
Hey, we were just talking about that, sis. I used to be a champion soapbox racer builder.
That's what I told Willie, I betcha.
You did?
I said, Willie, I'll bet you Mr. Magee could build the best soapbox racer in the whole world, I said.
Well, it's odd that you should ask my advice, sis, because you're talking to the guy that he's probably the greatest authority on soapbox racers alive today.
You're alive today? Very odd. I could swear that...
Oh, quiet down.
Uh-huh.
Now, the first thing you do, Teeny, is you find yourself a big box.
Oh, gee, that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Gee, a big box.
And then you find 4 wheels the right size, and you attach them right to the box.
Oh, that's a dandy idea. Attach the wheels right to the box. Oh, wait till I tell Willie. Oh, boy, I sure wish I knew as much as you do, mister, and had all the tools you got, but, well, I'm just a little girl, and I can't do stuff like smart men like you can.
This is the most obvious.
Quiet, Doctor. Let it work itself out.
Okay.
Where was I now? Oh, yeah. Anyway, mister, thanks ever so much for telling me how to do it, but, well, maybe I better let it go till I'm a bigger kid and...
Hey. Look.
Oh, boy, here it comes.
I got an idea.
I wondered if you were ever gonna...
Suppose I build you a soapbox racer. I got the tools, I got the time, I got the know-how. If I get right to work, I can...
this is wonderful. Oh, boy, thanks ever so much. Gee, you're nice to little children, Mr. McGee.
Well, sure.
Oh, wait till I tell Willie. Hey, Willie. Willie. Yeah? What happened? He fell for it? Like a ton of bricks. Is he going to do it? Sure. I gave him the nice to little children routine, and he ate it up. I hope I don't break my neck in that racer, because some of the stuff he builds is all...
Billy Mills in the orchestra, and I whistle a happy tune.
Tiger for a pet, he grew by leaps and bounds. The day my sister disappeared, he gained 100 pounds. We knew he was a man-eater, and our minds were in a whirl. We think he must have got confused, 'cause sister was a girl.
Well, are you coming along with the soapbox racer, Mr. Kettering?
Kettering? I remind you of Charlie Kettering, the General Motors genius?
No.
Oh.
Nope. I was thinking of Sore Thumb Kettering,
Oh.
the handyman we had in Peoria.
Oh, him.
His front porch was always a mess like this.
Yeah. I remember old Sore Thumb. Used to build custom-built chicken coops for the farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he had to give it up because he was always nailing himself inside. I wonder whatever happened to him.
Well, the last I heard, he went to Chicago in a shipment of pullets.
Oh?
The man who opened the crate got the Pulitzer Prize of his life. Don't you get it, McGee? Pulitzer Prize? It's a play on words.
Ain't funny, kiddo.
Why not?
Because I didn't think of it. Hey, look, it's starting to shape up now, Molly. This baby's going to be an exact copy of my little old number 9, the racer I built as a kid. It was what you might call a teardrop design.
Teardrop?
Yep. I used to cry like a baby every time I sat in it. Till I got smart and hammered down the nails in the seat. You see, it was the nails. Oh, let's see.
Say, McGee, which is the front end of that thing, or haven't you decided?
Well, this end here, I think. Yeah, this end here's the front end. I'm building the front end low and the back end high. You see, with the low front end and the high... Oh, hi, Latrivia.
Oh, hello, McGee. Hello, Molly.
Hello there.
Well, building a soapbox racer.
Yeah.
That looks like fun.
Yeah, you want to watch, Latriv? Just sit down on the porch railing there, boy. And don't talk. Now, let's see.
Excuse me, but what's the idea of the low front, McGee? Are you getting it ready for television?
Nope, that's a new principle, Latriv. The front part is lower than the back part, so it'll always be going downhill, you see. That's known to science as the Magee Amendment to Newton's Law of Gravity. Named for the guy that discovered it, Newton.
Well, that's a pretty sloppy job of carpentering, McGee. Here, let me have that hammer. I'll show you a few tricks about
I
carpentering.
don't need no help, Latrivia. You just sit down, boy. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, dearie, let him help you. After all, he's company.
Oh, let him go build his own soapbox racer.
Stingy. Oh, come on, let me drive a few nails, McGee. That looks like fun. Well, I work hard all day. Nobody ever lets... Look, McGee.
Huh?
Next time you're down at City Hall, I'll let you drive the mayor's private limousine.
Yeah, the official car? Okay, Latrivia. Here's the hammer.
Good.
Now, one nail, Latrivia. How far can I drive the car?
All the way around the City Hall garage.
Oh.
Inside, of course.
What? Give me back my hammer.
McGee, don't snatch it out of his hand like that. You'll break your glasses.
Well, gee whiz, he's got no right.
Look, McGee. Huh? You've been begging the city to fix the street in front of the house here, haven't you?
We certainly have, Mr. Mayor. It's got more bad cracks than McGee had in vaudeville.
Well, I sent the request to the city engineer yesterday.
Oh, swell. Here's the hammer.
Good. There's a nail.
When did they say they'd pave it?
They turned the request down.
Give me that hammer.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, dearie.
I sent the order back today marked urgent. They'll start paving it tomorrow.
Okay, here's the hammer.
And if they don't pave it, Mr. Mayor, you promise to come back and pull the nail out? This is the silliest thing.
By George, I haven't done any carpenter work since... Let me see now. I'll put this brace right here. That's a good place for it, yeah. That's it. Now, hand me another nail while I'm down here. Now, I must have sprained my back. I can't straighten up.
Why, of course you can't, Mr. Mayor. You nailed your necktie to the porch.
I did? Oh, yes.
Look at the gleam in his eyes, McGee. He hardly knows we're here.
Well, I'll show him who's... That rattle, Trivia, give me that hammer. You've been working on it for an hour now. You got a lot of crust anyhow coming in here taking over my job. I don't tell you how to run the city hall, do I?
Oh, the heck you don't. Everybody does. Now, just a couple more nails, McGee. Come on. I want to do it.
No, sir. My gosh, if I didn't have respect for your job as the mayor of this town, I'd poke you right in the nose. If you weren't holding that hammer.
Oh, McGee, now that's not...
Oh, is that so?
Yes, that's so.
Well, if this hammer is all that's keeping you from striking me, McGee, I'll hang on to it. Where's another nail? Let me hit another nail.
Hi, fellas. Hi, Molly. Hello. Teeny and I just dropped by to see how her racer is coming along.
Well, I'd have had it built by now if Latrivia hadn't come along.
Why? Is that going to be it, Mr. McGee?
Yep.
Is that my dandy little soapbox racer? Is it?
Yeah, this is it, sis. Pretty rough yet, but when I get it finished, it'll be great.
Well, nothing is too good for Teeny, pal.
Yeah.
She was a pet milk baby, and she's still a pet milk girl because she...
Yeah, we know. You going to be at the soapbox derby tomorrow?
I'm the official starter, Harlow. It looks like a great race.
I'll be there. And speaking of a great race, my favorite one is the human.
Ooh.
Oh, that's cute. Isn't it, Mr. Mayor?
Yes. How did that get into the conversation?
Well, Mayor, we were speaking of the race, and I just realized that when you race your children on pet milk, you get them off to a flying start.
This goes on all the time, Homer.
Great Scott.
Well, you see, Latrivia, growing children need those good milk minerals and the vitamin D that pet evaporated milk gives them.
But the Soapbox Derby is going to be
and when you raise your child on pet milk, you're making sure that he gets all the nourishing milk substances he needs to grow strong, straight bones and good, sound teeth. Because pet is one of the best.
Hey, when does it start, Mr. Wilcox? When does it start?
It starts when you're just a tiny baby, Teeny.
That's the human race.
When you're... starts when your mother gives you your first pet milk formula. And as you grow up on pet milk, you'll always
No. She meant, when does the race start, Harlow?
Yeah.
It starts at 3 minutes after 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Teeny.
Thought it started at 3 o'clock sharp. Why 3 after?
Because I've done this every year for 6 years, and I know what happens.
Oh?
At 3 o'clock sharp, I pull the trigger of the starting gun. Nothing happens. Defective ammunition. At 3:02, I reload. At 3:02 and a half, I pull the trigger again. The gun falls apart. At 3 minutes after 3, I snatch a paper bag from someone in the crowd, dump the lunch out of it, blow it up, and bam, they're off.
It seems to me that a big shot like you should have a better gun.
Well, I don't...
Speaking of guns, some of our highest caliber citizens grew up on pet milk.
Some of our biggest bores, too.
Well, anyway, you see, it takes a lot of milk to raise a healthy child. And since pet milk costs less generally than any other form of whole milk, it's quite a saving. And it's very important.
Mr. McGee, hey.
Yeah, Teeny?
Look, can I do anything to help you build my little soapbox racer? Can I do anything to help, Can I,
Yes, you can, Teeny. You know where Kramer's drugstore is?
Sure I do, I betcha. What do you want down there?
Uncle Harlow. Get him out of here and take him down there and buy him a soda. Let him buy you one. That'll be a real help.
Well, I can take a hint.
Yeah, and take the mayor with you, too. Maybe I can get some work done then.
Very well, McGee. That's your idea of gratitude after I ruin a $5 necktie and mash 3 thumbs trying to help.
3 thumbs?
He mashed one of mine, too.
Then I, too, can take a hint. But don't tempt me tomorrow.
Tempt you?
When I fire that starting pistol tomorrow, duck. Good day, Mom.
McGee, do you think he was angry?
He don't scare me. How can you shoot anybody with a paper bag? Now, let me see. That's about all. You know, I'll have this baby finished by dark. Put a coat of paint.
There, kids. Hi, daughter. Hi, Johnny. Hey, did you kids see Bessie go by here, daughter?
No, we didn't, Mr. Oldtimer. Is she
Got a letter for her from her brother, Milford. He's a soldier, you know.
Private?
Must be. It's sealed, Johnny.
Oh.
Me and Bessie went down to see Milford last week, and when we left, he stood there at the Army base with his hands in his overcoat pockets, waving goodbye.
How could he wave goodbye with his hands in his pockets?
Ears, daughter. Got very talented ears.
He waves his ears?
Yep. Got the finest pair of ears in the Army, Milford has. About the size of a blacksmith's hands. About the same color, come to think of it. Very muscular, Milford's ears.
You mean he has muscles in his ears?
Yeah, got a good job in the Army, too, Milford has. Signal Corps, wigwag division.
Oh?
They wig messages to him, and Milford wags them back. Very handy boy.
Well, I'm glad he's getting along so well. The Army is...
Oh, he loves it, daughter. You see them newsreel pictures of them airplane carriers?
Yeah.
Where the fellers stand on the deck and wave the planes down with big red and yellow paddles in each hand?
Yeah, we've seen it.
Milford does it. No hands. And no paddles, too. Just ears. Well, so long, kid.
So long.
The King's Men and the Unbirthday Song from Alice in Wonderland.
Everybody in the world has one birthday every year. But there are 364 on birthdays. That's all we're gathered here to cheer. A very merry on birthday to you.
merry birthday to you, to you. It's great to drink to someone, and I guess that you will do. A very merry birthday to she and he and them and we. A very merry birthday to you.
To who? I say.
A very merry birthday to us.
To us? Yes.
To us. If there are no objections, let it be unanimous. A very merry birthday to us. It really would be pleasant if you sent a little present to me. To me. Now don't be apprehensive, because it needn't be expensive, you see.
I see.
You see? I see.
A 20-carat diamond ring would suit me to a T.
A very merry birthday to her and he and thou and thee. We ought to throw a party for a very special party. You mean? Guess who? I hate to be specific, but this fellow is terrific. You mean? I do. Let's have a celebration, hire a band and rent a hall. A very merry birthday, a very merry birthday, a very merry birthday to all. To her and he and them and we and thou and thee and also me. A merry birthday to all.
It's nearly time to start. Oh, look at the crowd.
Now, don't drop the racer, Ole. Hold your end up, boy.
Well, don't worry about me, Magee. You got the biggest end. If you can hold that up.
Let us through, please. Racing car coming through. Through, please.
Hey, Teeny, come here.
Oh, Mr. Magee, was I ever scared, I betcha. It's almost race time, and gee, I thought you were never coming.
I told you I wouldn't let you down. Let her down, Ole.
Oh, boy, look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, Willie, it's here. Look at my little racer is here, Willie. Look it. Yeah.
Well, don't you like it, Billy? I think it's pretty good for Mr. Magee making it out of his own head and having plenty of wheels left over.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? My racer can beat your racer anytime.
You call that a soapbox racer? I can beat that boxcar with my feet dragging.
You cannot. We'll bet you $1 jillion, million, trillion.
Attention, please. Contestants will line up their racers at the starting line for the 9th annual Wistful Vista Soapbox Derby.
You hear that, Molly? The 9th. That's a hunch. Lucky number 9.
Move over, kids. This is my lane. Help me in, Mr. Magee.
Hey, wait a minute, Teeny. Let me climb in it a minute first. Let me show you how to sit. That famous Magee crouch that brought me home in first place in my lucky number 9.
Okay, mister. You show me.
You gotta grip the wheel with both hands and crouch low, see, like this.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't stir up so much wind assistance with your ears. Besides, you can hold it better.
And now, folks, we bring you our official starter, Mayor Retrivia. Take it away, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give these little race drivers plenty of room. We're about to begin Wistful Vista's 9th annual Soapbox Derby.
This is exciting. How about Mr. Magee? Oh, boy. I'll bet I go 90 miles an hour.
Come on, get out, Magee. Let Teeny in. They're about to start.
I'm kind of stuck. Pull me, Ole.
Oh, good gracious. This is the...
Oh, Mr. Magee, hurry up, get
All
out.
right, on your marks, everybody.
Oh, no.
Get set and may the best car win.
Hey, wait a minute, don't
Hey, the car's too little and my hips are too wide. Pull, Molly.
I'm trying to get you out.
Hey, Ole, get me out.
Well, I'm working on it, Magee. Shrink up a little bit. Make small.
That's right. I'm making it small as I can.
Ready, set.
Good luck, Magee. Here you go.
No, Ole, he's not here.
Hey, quit pushing. I ain't supposed to. No!
Come back, Mr. Magee. Come
And
back.
they're off, ladies and gentlemen. Number 3 with Willie Troops at the wheel is in the lead, with number 8 piloted by Wormhead Hutto, last year's winner close behind. Now number 4 driven by Sneaky Frazier creeping up. Then number 9, I think it's number 9. No, here comes number 5, driven by Boo Boo Callahan, moving up faster. No, it's going to be number 3, Willie Troops. Yes, number 3 wins.
Well, Magee, what happened to good old lucky number 9? You came in 6th place.
Yeah, and you know what? I just remembered. When I made my old lucky number 9 back in Peoria, it was on account of because I got the body on upside down. My lucky number was always 6.
Fibber and Molly return in a moment. When you think of the many ways you can use pet milk, you begin to realize that it is truly an all-purpose, all-family food. First of all, it's the milk so many doctors recommend for babies because it supplies the minerals and vitamin D needed for building strong, straight bones and sound teeth. As for the rest of the family, well, you can use pet milk for making everything from delicious cream soups and satisfying main dishes to favorite desserts like puddings and cream pies. You can use pet milk, too, for making hot cocoa and other good, nourishing milk drinks for the youngsters. And pet milk in the cream pitcher is a natural because it makes a good cup of coffee taste extra good. When you have pet milk on hand, you don't need any other kind of milk or cream. Your grocer has pet milk. Take some home tomorrow.
Hey, you see the Gazette tonight, Molly? All about the soapbox derby. Got my picture on page 1. But they fouled up the caption.
Oh, what does it say?
It says, local smart aleck loses up derby.
Loses up? That's an odd phrase.
Yeah. Dumbbells couldn't even spell loses. They got it L-O-U-S-E-S, loses.
Quite a coincidence. Just 6 letters. You're lucky 6 again.
Oh, yeah. Good night.
Good night, all.
First evaporated milk, pet milk, brings you Fibber, McGee, and Molly each Tuesday evening. If your community does not observe daylight savings time, you may hear us at a different hour beginning next week. Consult your local newspaper for time. And be with us again next Tuesday night, won't you? What would you do if, accidentally, of course, you had ruined something very valuable belonging to the wife of your husband's boss? Well, that's not exactly a happy situation to be in. But that's what Sally Carter gets herself into in the story of the week on Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor program next Saturday morning. You'll get a chuckle out of the story. And you'll also get a wonderful recipe for a one-dish favorite called vegetable meat dinner. Don't miss this Pet Milk recipe of the week. For all family entertainment and all family recipes, turn your dial to NBC next Saturday morning for Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor.
Tomorrow for quiz fun, hear Groucho. Now hear Big Town on NBC.
Silver, wait those thrilling days of yesteryear with the Lone Ranger up next.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. natural resources of the early western United States offered the pioneers a chance at a new life. And the masked rider of the plains believed that every honest man had a right to this chance. He visioned the new country as a land of equal opportunity, and he fought for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness just as fiercely as he fought for law and order. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're heading for Cottonwood! There's work to be done! Hail, Silver! Away!
The Lone Ranger and his faithful Indian companion Tonto were headed toward Cottonwood. Their destination was not the town itself, but a tiny cottage about a mile from the outskirts. As they drew near, they cut away from the trail and approached the cottage from the rear.
That's the widow Ridgely's place, Kemosabe. Looks as if she hasn't had much luck with her garden this year. Everything seems to be just about burned up.
Not bad.
Poor woman. She hasn't had an easy time of it. When her husband died, he left her practically penniless. She was well along in years even then, and in bad health in the bargain. On top of everything, she had too much pride to let people know how poor she was. He almost starved to death before Sam Otis found out about it.
Him, good feller.
A fine man, Tonto. He must have provided for her for 5 or 6 years.
That's right.
He wasn't any too well off himself. If he had been, I'm sure that when he died, his will would have made some provision for her. But it didn't, I understand. That's why I wanted to see her. Sorry I didn't learn about the situation sooner.
What we do?
Well, first of all, we'll see how she's making out. If she's already found help, that'll be fine. But if she hasn't, well, we're going to do something to see that she doesn't suffer from want.
Who that there?
Where?
There, young feller, round front.
The young woman, both talking with Mrs. Ridgely. Tonto, this way. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
We'll get out of sight. No use alarming them by the sight of a masked man when there's no need. Here, this'll do, Kemosabe. Pull up. Oh, Silver.
Oh, Scout. Oh.
Quiet, Silver. Tonto, those young people were dressed like Easterners.
Not right.
Wait.
What matter?
I overheard a bit of their conversation just then, Tonto. Sounded like something we should hear. Move the horses a little closer. The porch will protect us.
Bless your heart, you're so kind. I wish I knew how to thank you for all you've done, but, well, I reckon I just ain't got the words for it. I declare I'm most crying. You'll think I'm awful silly.
Mrs. Ridgely, my brother and I think you're one of the bravest women we know.
Oh, sure.
But will you promise us one thing?
After you and your sister bringing me them heaping baskets of grub and paying my rent to the bank and everything, young man, you can ask me anything you like.
Then do this. Don't tell anyone what we've done.
Oh, but land sakes,
Please, Mrs. Ridgely, Jack means it. There's no need to let it be known. Well, is it anyone's business but our own if friends help each other out?
This isn't charity, you know. You're in trouble and we like you. Maybe someday we'll be in trouble and you can help us.
Oh, what could a poor body like me do?
It isn't what you can do. It's what you would do if you could.
Oh, but
There's a promise. Now, mind you don't go back on us.
My, what can a body do with a pair like you?
Well, Dot, we better be getting along.
Yes,
Mr. Murdoch, wait.
Yes?
I just thought maybe I can help you a little.
Oh?
You won't take offense at anything the poor widow might say, would you?
Why, of course not.
What is it, Mrs. Ridgely?
Well, of course, I know you're both from the East, and ain't neither one of you been in these parts long, so naturally you wouldn't be so good acquainted with things in the West.
I believe I know what you're going to say. People don't like me here. They think I'm a coward.
Oh, but you ain't. It's just that things are mighty strange to you yet, that's all.
I came here and brought Dot because Mr. Thornton promised to make me express agent. Now, every time I ask him about it, he puts me off. Half the time when I see him, Job munches along. I think Mr. Thornton's just trying to find a polite way to tell me I'm not the man for the job, and he's going to give it to Job instead. Well, if that's the way he wants it, let him.
Don't talk that way, Jack.
You know what you ought to do, young man?
What?
The next time Job tries to bully you, you just up and give him the licking he's been asking for. I've known Job Munch since he was knee-high to a toad. He's just a sneak and a yellow bully, that's what. Stand up to him and he'll crawl. And if you do...
Yes?
Your brother'll get that job. Mark my words if you don't. Ain't no man Mr. Thornton likes so much as a fighter.
I've never had a fight in my life.
Oh. I savvy men folks, young feller. Fighting ain't something they have to be taught. When the time comes for it, they take to it natural. Just like a duck takes to water.
Well, I'll do my best.
You just better.
But I'm afraid my best won't be good enough.
You hear that?
I heard it, Tonto, and I don't like it.
I
ran across Job Munch in Pecos.
You know, fella?
He's a cheap bully, a thief when he thinks he can get away with it. The one man in the world I'd never put in a position of trust.
What you think of young fella?
That fella Mrs. Ridgely calls Jack Murdoch? I think that thanks to him, Mrs. Ridgely is once more secure.
Not right.
He deserves more than a refusal when he's come all this way for a job. We'll look into this, Kemosabe.
That's a good idea.
And if he needs help, he'll get it. Come on, Sue.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, old fellow. Come on.
No more, barkeep. That'll be enough. Have to get back to the office. I have things...
Mr. Thornton.
Oh, hello, young fellow. Looking for me, were you?
Yes,
Sorry, Jack, but I was just telling the barkeep here I've got work at the office. See me later, huh? Now, if you'll excuse me...
No.
What is it?
Look here, Mr. Thornton, you've got to listen.
Oh, I do I?
Yes, you do. You've got to tell me what you're going to do about that job at the office. Am I going to get it? You promised me I would, but since then you've just been putting me off.
Now, one moment.
Well?
I don't hire any man out of hand. First, I've got to know something about him. I have to have time to size him up. Now, how long have you been here?
Just 2 weeks, but...
There you see, 2 weeks. No time at all. You'll have to be patient, young man.
But you didn't tell me all this in your letter.
Well,
when I was in the East, you wrote me to come right out. Just the same as said when I got here, the job would be mine. Didn't say anything then about waiting to size me up.
There was a reason for that.
What reason?
I knew your father. I'd expected to find you more like him than you are. I won't say you disappointed me, but I will say that I'm not at all certain you're fitted for the work. Maybe I'm wrong. It'll take time to tell.
And I'm just to wait?
Unless you prefer to look elsewhere for employment. You're under no obligation to me, you know.
I see.
Jack, I know just how you feel. But believe me, I can't tell you anything else.
But, Mr. Thornton...
No, there's no use discussing it any further. I'm busy. Good day.
Good day.
We'll talk this over again some other time.
Barkeep.
You not drink.
Huh? Oh, hello, Redskin. What was that you said?
You not drink. You heap mad. Firewater. No good.
Say, what do you care what I do?
You good feller. You not drink.
I don't see why I can't... All right, Redskin, you win. Dot's waiting outside. Guess I was kind of forgetting myself. Redskin.
What matter?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to ask you your name. Mine?
Me name Tonto.
Tonto, huh? Well, Tonto, thanks. I guess if you hadn't been here, I might have made a prime fool of myself. You offer a reservation or something?
What's that?
My sister. That was my sister. Hey, let me through. Out of my way. Dot, what's wrong? What was it, Dot? You... Oh.
Well, there's your brother, miss. He came running to the rescue, only he ain't running no more. Fact is, when he seen me, kind of looked like he slowed down a heap.
You... Dot, what happened?
Jackie. Shucks, all I did was say hello to your sister here, and she started yelling like somebody had pulled a gun on her. There ain't no women around here that are afraid of Job Munch. Most of them like me to talk to him.
It isn't true, Jack. He grabbed me.
What if it did? It was just joking like.
You snake.
Eh? What's that?
If I were just a little closer to your size...
So that's it, huh? Too little to get in fights, huh? You hear that, fellers? Didn't I always tell you the Pilgrim weren't yeller? He's just too small to stick up for himself, that's all. He ain't yeller. He's just a little mite.
Jack, do something. Don't let him make fun of you like that. Make him take that back.
Oh, I'm to take it back, huh? All right, young fella. Here I am. Go on and make me take it back.
There's no need to fight about this. You just promise not to annoy my sister.
You hear that, fellers? I'm to promise not to bother the girl here. Me, I'm to promise. Why, shucks, any girl would be pleased to have a real man like me pay her some attention. Ain't that so, miss? Come on now, fess up. Ain't you kind of pleased for me to say howdy when you come walking by? Ain't you now?
You... Oh, there just aren't words to tell you how low you are. And you, Jack.
Dot,
I'm ashamed of you. I'm going home.
All right, we'll...
No, don't you come with me. I just can't stand to see you.
Dot, wait.
Young fella, you want some advice?
What?
Get out of town. All right, fellas, come on inside. The drinks are on me.
So Jack backed down when Job challenged him, huh?
That's right.
If he has no more backbone than that, he might as well turn around and go back east right now.
Oh, that'd be bad thing.
Why?
Him help widow woman. Him go. What her do?
Well, that's right, Kemosabe. A man who's willing to do a kindness but doesn't boast about it afterwards has something good in him.
That's right.
Here, Silver.
What you do?
Jack and his sister live in that place just beyond the widow's. Call Scout.
Here, Scout.
We're paying them a call.
You got plan?
Yes, Kemosabe. And if it doesn't work, nothing will. Ready?
Hello, Silver! Get him up, Scout!
Dot.
Jack, I'm glad you came home. I've been so sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it, Jack. I've been ashamed of myself ever since.
You didn't say anything that wasn't true.
No, Jack, you're not a coward. How could anyone be expected to fight a great big bully like Job Munch?
Well, after what he did, probably any man in town would if you'd been their sister.
I bet they wouldn't.
It's no use, Dot. I know now that I am a coward. For a while, I hoped it was just like Mrs. Ridgely said, not being used to things, not understanding how...
Jack, what is it?
Dot, look there. Coming up the trail. A masked man.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. The Lone Ranger and Tonto raced up to the home shared by Jack and his sister and reined in their great mounts before the door. Oh, this Silver. Come along.
What do you want? Oh, Tonto.
All right, Tonto, take him.
Get him. You come with me.
Let go of me. Stop it.
Throw him to the saddle, Tonto. You know what to do with him.
What are you doing? Don't you dare take my brother. Jack! Let my brother go. Let him go.
He'll not be harmed. Inside an hour, he'll be released.
You crook.
In the house. You and I are going to have a talk. As the Lone Ranger explained the reason for his actions, the girl's hostility disappeared. Then the masked man went on to explain the plan he had in mind. Now do you understand why I had to get your brother out of the way?
Oh, yes.
And you see that the plan I've suggested is the only thing that offers a hope of winning the respect of Thornton and the townspeople for Jack?
I wonder...
You wonder what?
If Jack will really...
Do as I've told you he will?
Yes.
Can you doubt it?
I don't want to.
I'm sure he will. You're his sister. You should have as much faith in him as I have.
I do believe in him.
And you'll try it?
I will.
Good. Who? Oh, Tonto. Back already?
Miss Murdoch's agreed to our plan.
That heap good.
Where's Jack?
Him not far. Him walk. Him get here soon.
Then we'll be going. And Dot, when your brother gets here,
Yes?
convince him that all's well.
Masked man, I will.
If you say it's all right, Dot, I suppose it is, but just the same, I don't understand.
Why the masked man and Tonto came here?
Yes.
I think you will in time, Jack. In fact, I'm sure you will.
That same afternoon, the masked man and Tonto rode into town. They reined up in the shadow of a building near the cafe and waited until Job Munch came out. Then they started after him. The masked man leaned forward to adjust his lariat. And that moment, Job disappeared.
I saw Job a moment ago, Tonto. Which way did he go?
Him walk that way.
Towards the livery stable? And he's likely getting his horse. Keep circling towards the side. That's where he is. He's been in there long enough to saddle up.
Not right.
So keep your eyes open. He'll be leaving any time.
Yeah, boy, get on there.
There he is. Get him. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
Hurry, old boy.
Hold on there. Wait. Get him up. Get him up.
I'm masked man.
Don't use that quirt. Grab the bridle, Tonto.
Me.
Hey, watch it, sir.
You're coming with us. Come on.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, there, boy. Hey, come on.
With their unwilling captive, the Lone Ranger and Tonto raced out of town and did not draw rein until they had reached their camp several miles away.
Here's camp, Tonto. Rein up.
Hold
You doggone.
Scar, get out of that saddle. I said get down.
What'd you call me?
Scar, of course. What other name would I use?
Scar who?
What is this? You're trying to work some game?
All I asked is who you think I am.
You're Scar Bowen.
Well, I'll be... Sorry to spoil your fun, mister, but you just made a mistake. You and the redskin here got the wrong gent.
That story won't go down.
I don't know this hombre, Scar Bowen.
You're not...
And I don't know why you want him. But I can tell you this. I ain't him, and I can prove it.
Expect us to swallow that?
You ever see this here Scar hombre? You acquainted with him personal?
No, but I've...
Well, then that accounts for it. Just had a description of him, huh?
Perhaps.
Well, then you look here at these. Go ahead, mister, look.
Now, what's that?
You aren't blind, are you? Letters, of course. Take a look at them and see what's written on the front.
This one's addressed to Job Munch.
Yeah, and look at the others. They're all the same.
Yes, I see they are.
Well, what do you got to say to that?
And it looks as if Tonto and I made a mistake.
You sure did. Well, you got any objections to my riding back to town now?
Yes, I have.
But you just now admitted I want the hombre you was after.
Which doesn't alter the fact that if we permit you to ride to town, you won't waste time reporting this to the law.
No, I won't, stranger. Honest, I won't.
You can go.
Gosh, mister, thanks.
But you'll walk.
What?
On your way.
Hey, listen, you don't know what you're saying.
Get going.
But I...
Or do you want some lead thrown your way?
All right, I'll go. Don't shoot, stranger, don't shoot. I'm a...
And keep going.
Him heap mad.
And we fooled him completely. Did you get something that'll serve?
Me get this.
His bandana, huh? Let me have a look at it. Fine Kemosabe. It's got his initials.
That's why Tonto take it.
And walking, Job won't reach town for at least 4 hours.
That right.
That suits our purpose perfectly, Kemosabe. He won't be there until dark.
4 hours later, Jack and Mr. Thornton were riding toward the boys' home, and...
There's no use your coming to our place, Mr. Thornton.
Jack, I think there is. But I can't make you see sense, so I'm going to talk to your sister. Maybe she can persuade you to go back east.
She wouldn't want me to.
Very well. Then she can tell me so herself.
Honest, Mr. Thornton, isn't there any chance at all for me to get that job?
I've made up my mind, Jack. No.
But...
And we're really wasting our time discussing it. Well, here we are. Oh boy. Oh. Well, what's the matter? I thought you said your sister was at home.
Why, she is.
Well, it doesn't look it. The door's open. She isn't in the parlor at any rate. Jack.
What?
Come on, hurry. Someone's been here, all right. Just take a look at this room.
Why, it's all torn up.
Torn up? Looks like it was hit by a tornado.
Dot, where are you, Dot? Dot, can you hear me? Dot, if you're here, answer me. Gone.
Looks to me as if there's been a fight here, or a struggle.
But I don't understand. Wait.
Well, what is it?
Have you ever seen this before, Mr. Thornton? Have you?
A bandana?
Yes.
But where would
And
that...
the initials on it are J.M. Job Munch.
Joe?
He came here, broke in most likely. He fought with my sister.
But, Jack, sounds incredible.
Incredible. We're going back to town. Come on. When I find that skunk, what I'll do to him will seem impossible.
Meanwhile, Job had returned to town and headed straight for the cafe. Weary and footsore, he expected sympathy. But when he told the story of his abduction, the men around the bar seemed to find it more funny than tragic. The cafe rocked with laughter.
You look like you've been walking for a week, Joe.
How do you like hiking, eh?
Yeah, laugh if you like. If I ever run across that masked man again, I'm going to gun whip that gent to a friend.
There he is.
What the...
Now, easy, Jack. Take it easy. After all, you don't know for sure. Now, wait just...
Take your hand off my arm. Job, where's my sister?
Say, is everybody loco today?
You broke into our house when my sister was alone there. What did you do with her?
Hey, now.
Where have you been all this evening?
Why, I was set afoot out in the country and had to walk back to town.
Did anyone see you, Joe?
Well, I reckon not, Mr. Thornton. You see,
And you can't prove you weren't at our place.
What in blazes do I care about proving anything to you, Fern?
I'll show you.
Oh,
well, look at the pilgrim light into Joe.
Didn't know he had the nerve.
Come on, you sneak here, polecat. Take this.
Hey, I'll break you in two.
Not tonight, you won't. Job, I'm going to give you the thrashing of your life.
You
stand up and take it.
And come on.
The crowd moved back to give the two men more room. Their first surprise, the sudden change in the boy, turned to admiration as he took the offensive and kept it. Lighter, but much faster, he seemed to avoid the hammer-like blows from Job's great fist for the fraction of an inch. It was the battle of a wildcat and a mountain lion, and the crowd shouted their encouragement.
Look at him go. I'm betting on Joe. I'll take you on that. The pilgrim's a wildcat. Come on, young fella. Come on. Come on, young fella. Come on, young fella.
I give up. Don't hit me again. Don't. No.
I haven't half started. Hey, come back. Come back here and take the rest of it. All right, then I'll drag you back.
Joe's running away. Look at Jack chasing.
Come back here, you yellow coward. Come back. Come back.
Let me get away. That fellow's gone crazy. Let me get away.
Stop him. Stop him.
Hold on, Jack. You can't catch him. Hold on.
You ever come back to this town, Job, and I'll make you wish you hadn't. Stay away from here. Get out and stay out. What, Dot?
You look as if you've been in a fight, Jack. What's wrong?
But the house, it was torn up. I found Job's bandana there. I
Jack,
thought that...
keep still about all that. Your sister will explain later.
A masked man.
Come on, Tonto. Let's get out of here before the crowd gathers.
Oh, hold on there.
Don't, Jack. They know what they're doing. Don't even mention them. You heard what he said. I'll explain later. Here comes Mr. Thornton.
Miss Murdoch, where have you been?
Everything's all right, Mr. Thornton, but Dot says right now she'd rather not talk.
Oh, of course.
You understand, don't you?
I'm not sure I understand that, miss. But, Jack, I do understand this. I made a mistake about you, young fellow.
A mistake?
I thought you were, well, to be frank, a coward. I say I was wrong. All I ask is that you never lose your temper with me.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Mr. Thornton.
Sorry? Why, you young idiot. Don't you realize I just won you a job?
What?
Why, of course. I want a fighter in this office, Jack. And it certainly looks to me as if you're the man.
He's bad, all right. Never seen anybody go to loco mad. That's the way.
Jack, it's wonderful.
Gosh, Dot, isn't it?
And
Huh?
And so were you.
Oh,
Fibber! Fibber, down!
You have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Hunt the biggest of all game with the Green Hornet and Cato coming up next.
The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who tried to destroy our America. With his faithful valet Cato, Britt Reed, daring young publisher, matches wits with the underworld, risking his life that criminals and racketeers within the law may feel its weight by the sting of the Green Hornet. Ride with Britt Reed in the thrilling adventure, Polarized Glasses. The Green Hornet strikes again. Lenore Case, secretary to Britt Reed, looked up as Mike Axford entered her office.
Good morning to you, Cassie.
What on earth? Who do you think you are with those dark glasses on? A movie star in disguise, Michael?
But they look as good on me as they would on anyone else.
Don't bet too much on that. Well, what's the idea? They look like expensive ones, too.
Sure, gold rim ones they are. As a matter of fact, Casey, I found them and wore them in here just for a gag.
Oh, so that's it. I wondered.
Yep. Here's the case they were in.
Well, let's see. It's a nice case, too. Say, there's an address label pasted inside the cover. There's a name and address on it.
Sure, I know that.
Mrs. Davidson Forrest, apartment 101, Bayside Terrace. Quite a swanky address, Michael.
That it is, Casey. It's that big apartment house built right on the edge of the cliff along the bay. A lot of big shots live there.
You'd better send those glasses over to Mrs. Forrest today.
Send them, you say? Nothing doing. I'm taking them over myself in case there's a reward.
Oh, you would.
Sure. And what's more, who's to say that dame Mrs. Forrest ain't a good-looking widow with a lot of dough?
So that's it.
Casey, I know you'd be jealous when I said that.
Jealous?
So you admit it, do you? You can't stand the thought of me maybe falling for the rich widow, so you flare up and you get mad.
What's the big joke around here?
All right, now, ask for this, Mr. Reed. He found a pair of glasses. These. And the owner's name is inside the case. He decided she might be a widow and that she might be rich.
In which case, she'd swoon at the sight of Axford and later drag him to the altar, is that it?
Oh, naturally, according to him.
Oh, Casey can't take a little kidding, Reed. I'm going to return the glasses to the lady that owns them, Mrs. Forrest.
Mrs. Davidson Forrest of Bayside Terrace Apartments?
Yeah, that's her, all right. You know her, Reed?
Well, I've heard of her. In fact, I've been invited to a reception at her place day after tomorrow.
Huh. You never met her. How come you get invited?
You don't get around much, do you, Michael? She's probably invited the whole social register.
Well, Mrs. Forrest is a newcomer to the city. Does a lot of entertaining. Seems to have some wealth and manages to draw a good many prominent people to her affairs.
How come she gets to invite people she don't even know?
Oh, a swanky address, a good social secretary, and a prominent name as honor guest will get people to her affairs. For instance, on my invitation, it says, to meet Baron de Soroka.
Huh. She must be somebody to know a baron.
It might turn out that the guest of honor won't show up.
Why not?
Mr. Reed means there's a possibility there isn't any such person as the Baron. It's just a come-on to get other prominent people to attend.
Huh. I'd go anyhow, baron or no baron. Well, I'm going to drive me jalopy over there this morning and take back her glasses. See you later, Reed. If she's a rich widow, Casey, maybe I can get you an invite to the wedding. So long! Sure, it's a swanky dump, all right. Just about noon. Maybe she'll invite me to stay and have a bit of lunch at her.
Yes, sir?
My name's Mike Axford, and I found something belonging to Mrs. Forrest. What's more, I ain't giving it to anyone else. So go tell her I'm here.
Please step inside, sir.
That I will.
I shall inform Mrs. Forrest that you're here, Mr. Axford.
Okay, I'll wait.
Very good, sir.
Them kind of guys always give me the willies. Can't tell whether they're smiling or sneering at a guy the way they look you over. What a joint.
Mrs. Forrest will see you, sir. Walk this way, please. Right in here. Mr. Axford, madame.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Axford.
Good morning, ma'am.
You may go, Charles.
Very good, madame.
I guess he thought he was going to get an earful.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, in the movies, you know, butlers are always listening to doors and the likes of that.
Oh, you've come on a confidential matter, perhaps?
No, I came because I found a pair of glasses belonging to you, ma'am. I got them here.
Oh, yes, my polarized glasses. How nice of you to bring them back to me, Mr. Axford.
It was the only honest thing to do, ma'am. Here they are.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm sure you wouldn't think of taking a reward, so I won't embarrass you by offering one.
Oh, you won't? Well, and now that I think of it, I guess I wouldn't think of it. That is...
Oh, great. You really have a very charming sense of humor, Mr. Axford.
I have? Yeah, that's right, I have.
My husband had no sense of humor whatsoever, poor thing. He was dreadfully boring.
Are you a widow by any chance, ma'am?
Yes, I am. I'm afraid I'm getting the reputation of being a very gay widow, too.
Oh. I knew you were a widow. I was right.
You knew? I don't understand.
Oh, no matter. Hey, now, it's a fine place you got here. What's that out there? A balcony overlooking the water?
Oh, that's the terrace. Come see the view I have of the bay.
Sure, glad to. Hey, now, you sure do have a view at that. Will you look at that swell-looking boat out there?
Oh, that's Baron de Soroka's yacht.
Is it really now? You know, I heard somebody say that Baron stuff was a fake.
I see. May I ask who it was who told you that?
Well, no, as we newspaper men say, it was said off the record, ma'am, so I won't mention names.
You're a newspaper man?
Oh, sure. Reporter on the Daily Sentinel. And if I do say so myself, a darn good one at that.
Really?
Yep. When Mike Axford goes out to get a story, he gets it one way or another. You can bet on that.
Well, I'm glad to know that. By the way, how would you like to meet the Baron, Mr. Axford?
You mean I'm invited to your party day after tomorrow?
Well, yes, of course. But the other guests are coming at 9 o'clock. I'd like you to come earlier. Say at 8. Then you and the Baron can become acquainted.
Say now, that'll really be something, that it will. The others will have a fit when they hear I'm going to get a chance to have a long talk with the Baron.
Well, if you really hope to get a story, why not keep it a secret about your coming here ahead of time? Otherwise, some other reporter may try to get to the Baron before you do.
Say, that's a good idea. I'll keep quiet about it and surprise all of them. Thanks for inviting me, ma'am.
Oh, not at all. Shall we go inside now?
Okay.
I'll see you to the door, Mr. Axford.
Sure. Time I was getting back anyhow.
Let me thank you again for bringing my glasses to me.
Oh, that's okay, Mrs. Forrest.
Your hat,
Huh? Oh, it's you. You must have popped up from under the table.
The table, sir?
Sure, the table there that my hat was on. I'll take it. Thanks.
Well, good day, Mr. Axford. I'll be looking forward to seeing you the night of the reception.
I'll be here with bells on, ma'am. That I will. So long.
Charlie, that man's dangerous. We'll have to take a message out to the yacht tonight. We have plans to make.
That guy's too smart for his own good. He'll be sorry he stuck his nose into our business when Paul gets through with him. You can bet on that.
It was a few minutes before 8 on the night of the Forrest reception. Mrs. Forrest was in the living room of her apartment, in earnest conversation with the butler, and with a tall, dark-haired man in evening clothes, whose close-cropped Van Dyke beard and small mustache gave him a distinguished and foreign appearance.
It's almost 8 o'clock, Paul. He'll soon be here.
Are you sure he'll come alone, Lily?
Oh, if he doesn't, it'll spoil everything. I tell you, both be on guard. That man Axford is dangerous.
Charlie says he was smart enough to play the dope when he came here.
Yeah, that's right. To look at him and talk to him, you'd think he was really dumb. But he was suspicious of Charlie right away, and he hinted that he knew the Baron was a fake.
Yeah, and he knew Lily was a widow. And he made an excuse to get out on the terrace and mention the yacht.
Do you think he's working alone, Lily?
No, I don't. So you'll have to be careful. He said he was told the Baron was a fake. Well, I thought he was a government man at first, and then he said he was a reporter.
You checked that, of course?
Yes, there is a reporter named Axford on the Daily Sentinel. Made quite a point of seeing me personally to hand me my polarized glasses, too.
Charlie and I'll see that he's taken care of.
You'll have to play your part as the Baron very carefully until you get him on the terrace.
Yeah, he's heavy set. Looks like he might put up a good fight. We'll have to move in on him easy.
We will, don't worry. My role as the Baron is my biggest gamble yet. But my forged credentials are perfect. I have the backing of a certain government. My disguise has proven itself. I'm not going to let that snooping reporter crab everything right at the climax of our act.
Oh, he's at the door. Go let him in, Charlie.
Okay.
I'll stay only a minute, and then I'll suggest you two go on the terrace for cocktails. That'll give you your chance.
Right. Now, for the switch to the Baron's accent.
Mr. Michael Axford.
Good evening, Mrs. Forrest.
Mr. Axford. Oh, you're right on time. Baron de Soroka, may I present Mr. Axford?
Delighted, my dear Mr. Axford.
Glad to meet you, Baron.
I'll leave you two gentlemen alone so that you can get acquainted. I have so much to do before the other guests arrive.
You're most thoughtful, Madame Forrest.
Go right ahead, ma'am. Don't let us keep you.
I suggest you go out on the terrace. I'll have Charles bring cocktails.
Suits me. Eh, Baron? Let's go.
Of course.
Golly, sure 'tis a nice moonlight night, ain't it, Baron?
Yes, of course. It reminds me so much of the moonlight on the waters of the Danube and Old Vienna. Look, far over there. Ah, such beauty.
Yeah. By the way, I want to ask you...
Good work, Charlie.
Now we'll take this guy where he won't do any snooping for a long, long time.
We'll continue our Green Hornet adventure in just a moment. Almost an hour had passed since Mike Axford had met with foul play in Mrs. Forrest's apartment. Britt Reed, with his faithful valet Cato at the wheel, was driving along in his smart club coupe on the way to the Forrest reception. The road ran straight down to the bay. The Bayside Terrace Apartments was outlined to the left. Directly in Britt's line of vision were the moonlit waters of the bay and the lights of the boats at anchorage.
A view of water and boats much better when seen through a polarized glass of windshield, Mr. Britt.
Yes. Polarized windshields should be made standard equipment on all cars, Cato. I often think... Well, that's strange.
Well, what do you think strange?
Look. See the outline of that yacht up in the bay?
Oh, yes, sir.
Notice the light on it?
Oh, it seemed to flash off and on.
Well, that's it. It flickers as though someone were sending signals.
Was that true?
Stop for a moment, Cato. We'll watch it. See? 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1. Now there's 2 very quick ones.
Well, there. 1, 2. Pause. 1.
And 2 more quick ones. There's no doubt those are signals of some kind, Cato.
With not Morse or international code.
I know. The 2 quick ones seem to indicate the end of a word or perhaps a letter. Oh, let's go down, Cato.
Yes, sir.
It won't do any harm for us to phone police headquarters and have them investigate.
Well, that's best. If there's nothing wrong, there's no harm done by calling police.
That's right. Well, say, did Axford come home tonight? He left the office early.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, he come in with dinner suit. It not fit very well. It quite tight. He'd take your black pearl studs to wear.
I hope he doesn't lose one of them. Wonder where he's going.
Well, he not say, Mr. Britt. Well, here, Bayside Terrace.
I'm not going to stay long, Cato. You might as well wait for me.
I wait.
I'll see you later.
Good evening, Mr. Reed.
Well, Sergeant Burke. What are you doing around here? Something wrong?
No, nothing like that. I just drove over with a couple of the boys. This is a big affair, and the cars get pretty well jammed up unless we keep them moving.
Oh, I see. Oh, by the way, I was going to call headquarters, so I'm glad I ran into you. There's something I want you to see. Step out here to the curb where you can see the bay, will you?
Sure. What do you want me to look at?
Well, out there on that yacht. Notice the light? It flickers regularly, as though signaling.
Well, I'm looking at it, but it ain't flickered yet, Mr. Reed.
Well, that's right. Well, I'll run along to the reception. If you find out anything about that light, let me know.
That I will, Mr. Reed. See you later.
Okay, Sergeant. I'll talk to you when I come out. I won't be long.
Mrs. Davidson Forrest's reception was in full swing. Diplomats, political figures, officials of state, and service officers intermingled with the city's social set. Britt Reed stood talking to one of his many acquaintances.
Did you meet the Baron, Britt?
Yes, for just a moment.
I understand his yacht is anchored right out there in the bay.
Really? I noticed the yacht a while ago as I drove here. I didn't know whose it was.
Yeah, that's a nice way to travel.
Yes, very. If you don't mind, I think I'll stroll out on the terrace and look at it again.
Sure, go ahead. Glad I saw you, Brett.
Oh, Mrs. Forrest. Admiring the view?
Oh.
Sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
Oh, that's perfectly all right. Mr.
Reed.
Oh,
With Reed.
oh, yes, of course. I should have remembered. But with so many, you know.
I understand. I've been noticing your dark glasses. Isn't it difficult out here to see?
These. I like to look at the light through them. You see, these are polarized lenses. They dispense with the glare.
Oh, of course. I should have known. Well, I stepped on something that felt like a bead.
Probably just a pebble. Sometimes the wind blows a few onto the terrace. If you don't mind, I'll go back to my guest.
Yes, of course. I'll have a look at whatever it was I stepped on. Light my lighter. Looks like...
Black pearl stud. Real pearl, too, or it would have been crushed under my foot. These aren't too common. Well, this one is mine. I can tell from the setting. Have a look around. Axford must be here someplace. He must have crashed the gate.
A short time later, Britt Reed left the apartment house. He learned from Sergeant Burt that the light had not flickered and that Axford had not been seen going to the party. After returning to his own apartment, Reed sat in deep thought, holding the pearl stud in his hand. Then Cato spoke.
What you think of, Mr. Britt?
This is one of my very own studs that Axford was wearing tonight. Yet Burke says he didn't go into the reception.
Yet you find stud on terrace of Mrs. Forrest's apartment?
That's right. Then I keep thinking of those signal flashes. Or at least that's what we thought they were. Burke says the light has been steady ever since I told him about it.
Oh, yes, that's true. I watch also through back window of car, but light stays steady.
Another thing I've been thinking of is Mrs. Forrest standing on the terrace away from her guests looking at the view, which you can see anytime. She has polarized glasses just for the purpose of looking at... Wait a minute.
What matter?
I just thought of something. We're going back down there, Cato. We'll check things once more. But this time we'll take the Black Beauty just in case. Come on.
We on road that go down to Bayside Terrace. Do not see any cars. The party all over, perhaps.
Yes, Cato, it's late. Look, that light's flickering again, Cato.
Well, that's right.
Stop in the shadows and then we'll watch it again. I'll get out a pencil and a bit of paper. We'll keep track of those flashes and try to figure out the code. For some time, Britt and Cato sat watching the light and jotting down the number of flashes. Suddenly, Britt spoke. Cato, I think I've hit the code. The flashes before the short pauses seem always to run numerically from 2 to 9. None over and no ones.
Well, that's right.
The flashes after the pauses run only from 1 to 3. I'm convinced they're using the telephone dial as a code. There are 3 letters in each circle from 2 to 9. So that flashing, let's say 2, pause 1, that could be the letter A and so on.
Well, that code all right.
Okay. Then let's put together what we've written down and see what they were saying with that light.
What you get, Mr. Britt?
Listen. Drop roll from wire recorder on line to ledge below terrace. We'll send for. And this says, give warning if reporter Trace there.
Would that mean Oxford, perhaps?
I think so. And these messages were directed to that woman's apartment. I don't see how... Wait a minute. Cato, lean out here and look at that light.
Yes, sir. The light not flicker now.
Now look through the polarized windshield.
Well, now it flicker, Mr. Britt.
That's it, Cato. Axford must have found out something. He went to that party and something happened. He's in danger on that yacht, I'm sure of it. Get going, Cato. We have work to do and fast. A short time later, at police headquarters...
Funny how Britt Reed thought he saw signal flashes coming from the light on the Baron's yacht, Cassidy.
Yeah, guess that guy needs glasses, Sarge.
Well, I don't know. But I sure couldn't see anything wrong with that light. It was as steady as... Glory be, what's that?
A bomb! Somebody threw it in the window.
That ain't any bomb. It's a stone. Something tied to it. Let's see what it is.
It's a printed note. Read it, Sarge.
Well, give me a chance. Give me a chance. That Baron's a fake and his yacht's a spy's nest. Raid that yacht and you'll save the life of a reporter named Axford. Then go to the Forest Dame's apartment for the rest of the gang. Great day. Let's check on this. Get the harbor police on the phone. We got work to do. Mike Axford's mixed up with spies.
We find roll of recorded wire, Mr. Britt, on ledge below terrace. Now what we do?
We'll wait here just outside until we hear a commotion from the yacht. Then we'll go inside.
Maybe police come here before we get it.
Now go the harbor police to the yacht.
The men on yacht shoot at police.
Yes. Come on. That's our cue for some action. Later, in Mrs. Forrest's apartment...
Charlie! Charlie!
What's going on out there?
The police must be raiding the yacht. We'd better get out of here in a hurry.
What's the rush, lady? You're not going anyplace.
Oh.
The Green Hornet. You now shoot. Hornet.
Oh!
What's going, fella?
Oh, that roll of wire. Where'd you get that?
Stop worrying, lady. This'll help you to do it.
No.
The police will soon come. We'll leave them here with that roll of recorded wire and her polarized glasses as evidence. Let's get out of here. Later, in Britt Reed's apartment, soon after Sergeant Burke brought Axford home...
Wasn't that some story we got, Reed?
Yes, it was, Axford.
I still don't get it how polarized glass works.
Polarized glass?
Yeah, that's how the spies worked. They used polarized glass in front of the searchlight.
Oh, so that's it.
Well, how's it work?
Well, polarized glass breaks a light beam into a very thin beam.
Like in Venetian blinds?
Well, something of that sort. It's used to cut down glare and reflection. I have it in my car's windshield. Now, if two pieces of polarized glass are held together in a certain way, they cut off the light. If I look through my polarized windshield at the headlight of a car, and that headlight has a lens of polarized glass set in the right way, I won't see the light at all.
That's it. Mrs. Forrest had glasses like your windshield. Those guys on the boat held polarized glass over the light, and it was cut off for Mrs. Forrest.
And for me when I saw it through the windshield of my car.
Yeah, and people seeing the light without looking through that trick glass didn't notice any change.
That's how those lugs could send signals no one but the dame could see. They made dots and dashes by covering and uncovering the searchlight with the polarized glass. And she saw those dots and dashes because she had on polarized glasses.
That's it.
Reed, there's more to tell you. That Baron was a fake. He was just to come on to get important officials to Mrs. Forrest's party. Then when they were talking confidential, she'd give the butler a signal and he'd start the wire recorder going. Microphones were hid all over the place. They got important bits of news for the foreign power that paid them.
Amazing. Sergeant, you did a swell job of breaking that case. How you did it is hard for me to say.
Huh. It ain't hard for me to say it. 'Twas a tip-off by somebody that did it. I'll bet it was the Green Hornet. 'Cause when we found them spies, there was a Green Hornet seal on the wire recorder. And to think the whole thing started over me finding them polarized glasses. Ain't it amazing?
Spies captured, fake Baron exposed, Green Hornet implicated. Read all about it. Green Hornet still at large. Set the Red Street.
These popular radio dramas, created by George W. Trendle, are a copyrighted feature of the Green Hornet, Incorporated. All characters, names, places, and incidents used are fictitious.
Crime doesn't stand a chance against Dick Tracy. Up next.
And now, Dick Tracy.
This is Dick Tracy on the case of the deadly tip-off. Stand by for action. Let's go, men. Yes, it's Dick Tracy, protector of law and order. We'll have Dick Tracy with us in exactly a minute and 10 seconds. But first, I wonder how many of you young Tracy fans have decided what you're going to do when you grow up.
You know, the sooner you decide what you're going to be, the sooner you can make plans for it and then follow through. Take Raymond Schiff, for instance, who comes from New Rochelle, New York. Raymond decided while he was in high school that he wanted to be a nuclear physicist and work with atomic energy. This was back in 1942, before the atomic bomb was heard of. He wrote an essay on the future of atomic energy, and this essay earned him a 4-year scholarship to Harvard College, the school he wanted to attend. Of course, he studied physics there, and then in the summertime he worked with the Westinghouse researchers who were splitting the atom and studying it. After Raymond has done some more work in these laboratories, he'll go back to school for more training. But he's already rated as one of the nation's top young nuclear physicists. You know, it really doesn't matter what you want to be when you grow up. You first have to decide, and then you have to keep your eye on it constantly. That's the way that success is made. And now, Dick Tracy. Yesterday, Dick and Pat used every police trick at their command to find the missing Slim Chance, one of America's foremost radio commentators. They learned that he'd been snatched from the Heron Club in a mysterious taxi, but that was all. His subsequent whereabouts remained a deep secret to the two detectives. But not to Slim Chance, who had been driven out into the country by a couple of Bellicosi's thugs and had been given a severe beating, accompanied by the pointed instructions that when he next went on the air, he was to deny that Bellicosi had entered the country. Right now, Tracy and Patton are at headquarters, waiting for information on Slim Chance. Tracy speaking. Yeah, go ahead.
No report, eh? Well, it seems to me that someone on this force ought to be able to spot a green and yellow checkered cab with a known license number. Don't be sorry. Find me that cab. And throw out a wider dragnet for Slim Chance. Yes, put it on the teletype. Check all major train, air, and bus terminals. All right, but I want him found.
Say, Dick, you should try sleeping nights. Then maybe you wouldn't be so hard on the help.
No, I'm not intentionally being hard on anybody, Pat. If the facts were to slip out, I'm pretty worried about Slim Chance.
Yeah, I guess I know what you mean.
It seems hardly possible that the most famous radio commentator in the country can disappear for over 15 hours and we can't find a trace of him.
Say, tell me something. Do you think that Bellicosi snatched him?
I'm not thinking a thing until I get some lead on Slim.
Well, you know, the part that seems most ominous to me is that I'm sure Slim would have gotten in touch with us if he could.
Yes, that's just what's got me bothered. And that's why I'm not leaving this desk until Slim calls me or the boys turn up something.
And if it was Bellicosi or his gang that got to him, do you think they'd have murdered him?
I don't know, Pat. That crazy gangster might try anything. But I don't see how it would help him at the moment.
Well, whatever has happened to Slim Chance has certainly stirred up a furor. Say, tell me one thing. How did the papers get it?
Oh, the radio station and his sponsor. They're completely up in the air about the whole thing.
What'll they do if Slim Chance doesn't turn up?
Well, they probably have somebody ready to sub for him, but it's not the same thing.
Oh, it certainly is not.
Tracy speaking.
Listen, Dick, if you recognize me through my voice, don't mention my name over the phone.
At the moment, I don't recognize anything. Go on.
Does Jimsy Boy mean anything to you?
Jimsy Boy.
Jimsy Boy? That was the name signed to the threatening note that Slim Chance got.
Okay, Jimsy Boy, I've got you placed. Are you all right?
Well, in a manner of speaking. Listen, Dick, I can't come to you. Please get up here to Studio 8 on the double. I've got to talk to you before airtime. Do you know what I mean?
We're on our way. Let's go, Pat.
Who was it?
Slim Chance. He's at the broadcasting studio and due on the air in a few minutes.
I'm sorry, sir. No one's allowed in the studio.
It's all right, fellow. I'm Dick Tracy.
Oh, go right in, sir.
Thanks. Come on, Pat.
Right with you.
Dick, Pat, thank heaven you fellas got here.
Well, what happened to you?
Oh, I got beaten up.
Well, as a connoisseur of that sort of thing, I'd like to say they did a nice workmanlike job.
Yeah, I'd just as soon never have another one like it.
You ought to be in a hospital, Slim.
Well, my doctor's on the way over. I phoned him just after I got you.
What happened?
Well, I'll make it quick. When I left the Heron Club early this morning, I was picked up by the first cab. In it were 2 torpedoes, one driving and one in the back to keep me company.
Did you get their names?
Yeah, Ryder up front, Ringer in the back. They were a little dumb and called themselves by name.
Got it, Pat?
All down.
How about the cab that crashed into Detective Barney, who was guarding you?
Well, that was part of their scheme, Dick. They'd arranged for it.
Have we still got that driver in jail?
We certainly have, Dick.
Hold him.
Right.
What next?
Well, out to the country where I got that beating.
One thing. Did they change the license plate on their taxi?
Yes. They stopped on a dark street and did it. It was evidently all
I
prearranged.
thought as much. That's why the boys didn't spot the taxi. Who gave you the going over?
Mostly Ringer.
What do you want?
Oh, the same old thing. A retraction on my item about Bellicosi being in the country.
How'd you get away from them?
Well, I told them I'd do what they wanted me to. Then they left me out in the country.
But jumping Jiminy, Slim, you're not going on the air with that.
Well, what do you think?
Well, your entire reputation is built on giving the public the truth.
Well, what good is a reputation if you're too crippled to enjoy life? A beating like the one I took is quite a convincer.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that of you, Slim.
Well, you'd better listen to the broadcast.
Why didn't you contact me sooner, Slim?
Well, I passed out a couple of times before I could get myself to the road to walk away. When I finally got the strength, I called my wife and had her pick me up and drive me here to the studio.
I can't understand why someone didn't tell me.
Well, I took care that no one would recognize me. I didn't want it to get out that I was back.
Well, why not?
Well, my disappearance was on the air and in all the papers today. You don't think I'd let anyone scoop me on my return? No, so the first news of that will be when I go on the air in a moment.
I don't know if I'll ever understand reporters. Well, you'd get yourself killed for a piece of hot news and then write it up for St. Peter's Weekly.
The fact that somebody is so hot to get you to make a retraction would indicate that Bellicosi is either in this country or on the way here.
Uh-huh. That's how I see it. What do you want me to say tonight?
That's up to you.
Well, I don't mean about the retraction. I won't give that. I want to know if you have any objections to my openly defying Bellicosi.
You know what the consequences might be?
Another beating?
Maybe worse than that.
Well, do you mean that I'm on my own?
Not at all, Slim. We'll give you every protection. But just remember one thing. The advantage is always with the hunter.
Ah, that's a happy thought.
It's your problem, Slim. But you can be sure of this. If Bellicosi's around, Pat and I'll find him.
And maybe my talking up will help you, huh? Well, anyway, I figure that as a factual reporter, it's my duty to inform the public just as it's your duty to protect it.
Just keep on talking, Slim. You make me like you better and better.
Well, it's almost airtime, Dick, but I've got to talk to you about one more thing.
Shoot.
I couldn't tell you where I got my information about Bellicosi coming into the country because I was under oath not to. But I don't think that holds now. It's a girl named Molly Kuehl who told me.
Say, wasn't she a friend of Bellicosi's in the old days before he was deported?
Well, he was out of his mind about her, but I don't think she ever liked him. Anyway, they tried to beat it out of me. I wouldn't tell. But this fellow Ringer, who was doing the slugging, mentioned her name, which means that they suspect her and that her life is in great danger.
Where does this girl live? We'll take her into protective custody.
Well, I don't know where she lives, nor how to get in touch with her. She wouldn't tell me.
Oh, fine. That's just great.
I have an idea, Slim. We may be able to save the girl.
How, Dick?
You've got to go on the air tonight and warn her of the danger and tell her to contact me. 5 minutes after that, we'll have her under protection.
Well, that's a wonderful idea, Dick. And she's sure to listen to the program because she knows I'll be talking about Bellicosi. I'll arrange a special phone line for you right now.
Good. And, Pat, call headquarters and get me a special squad. We're going to need it.
Stop walking up and down, Molly Kuehl. You might make me nervous.
For the last time, Bellicosi, get out of here.
You're not very hospitable after I come thousands of miles just to see you.
You could have saved yourself the trip.
Whether I could have or not remains to be seen. In any case, I think it was a somewhat unfriendly act for you to tip off Slim Chance that I was coming.
I did no such thing.
You're not a good liar, Molly Kuehl. I'm going to have to teach you a lesson.
How did you ever find out where I lived?
I had the boys keep an eye on you ever since I left the country 2 years ago. But let's not change the subject. I like you, Molly Kuehl, but I don't like what you've done to me. If Slim Chance doesn't deny that I'm in the country tonight on his radio show, I'm likely to lose a lot of money. And I couldn't buy you no more presents.
And I wouldn't have to throw any more of them into the garbage.
Turn the radio on. Slim Chance ought to be starting.
Turn it on yourself. All right. I'd forgotten what a big, brave caveman you are. Always ready to beat up a woman.
Force works with anyone, regardless of sex or age. Turn on the radio. You'll hear what a good beating did to help Slim Chance make up his mind.
Why didn't they put you in jail when they had their hands on you?
'Cause I'm too smart and too strong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your somewhat battered reporter, Slim Chance, here to point out to that fat gangster, Bellicosi, who is in this country illegally, as my cracked ribs will attest, that his thugs did a bad job. I can still talk. Is that the retraction you wanted, Bellicosi?
I'll kill him.
And here is a most important announcement. Molecule, your life is in great danger. Call Dick Tracy here at this studio. You have an open line. The number is NAN 52884. Repeat, Molecule, your life is in great...
Wow. So you didn't have nothing to do with tipping Slim Chance off about me, huh? I'm going to enjoy what I'm going to do to you.
Put that gun down, Bellicosi.
Get on that phone. Call Tracy at NAN 52884. And tell him you're all right. That Slim Chance is a cheap report out after a lot of sensation. Hurry up and do what I say. And don't even start to give him your address. But say nothing but what I told you to.
Hello, this is Dick Tracy.
This is Molecule, Mr. Tracy. I'm all right. Slim Chance shouldn't have... Oh, dear heavens, help me! Help me!
What's your phone number?
In a moment, we'll return to Dick Tracy. You Tracy fans have probably heard the expression, life in the raw. Well, nowhere was life in the raw better exemplified than in the great Northwest during the days of the Klondike Gold Rush. That was country that, as the saying goes, separated the men from the boys. Well, each Saturday night on Challenge of the Yukon, you can enjoy exciting tales of adventure set in this rough wilderness untouched by refinements of civilization. Challenge of the Yukon is a colorful program broadcast on most of these same ABC stations. The stories are concerned with Sergeant Preston's fight to maintain law and order at a time when authority seemed to rest in each man's pistol holster. Representative of the small group of Northwest Mounted Police who braved the elements to track down ruthless criminals, Sergeant Preston is aided by his highly trained Eskimo lead dog, King. Although many of the action-packed dramatizations on Challenge of the Yukon deal with conflicts between men, there are variations, stories that revolve around wolves or bears and other animals of the Yukon. Don't miss Challenge of the Yukon, heard on most ABC stations tomorrow night. And now, back to Dick Tracy.
It's no use. The instrument's gone dead. But there was a shot, Pat.
Did you get a phone number?
No, but the beginning sounded something like muh. Come on, Pat. Maybe it's not too late to get to her.
Yes, but maybe it is too late. And be sure to tune in Monday for the adventures of Dick Tracy. Written for radio by John Ray and Everett S. Crosby, Dick Tracy is heard overseas through the Armed Forces Radio Service. And this is George Gunn speaking. Here's an invitation to you Tracy fans from ABC, an invitation to spend a series of Saturday afternoons with us. Every Saturday afternoon we bring you broadcasts of the great Metropolitan Opera, broadcast direct from New York's famous Metropolitan Opera House, a mecca for music lovers who come from all over the country to see this famous opera company. Yes, each week throughout the opera season, the Metropolitan Opera is brought directly to you, giving you a chance to hear many of your favorite works, such as Carmen, Lohengrin, the Magic Flute, Rosenkavalier, Rigoletto, and so forth. Don't miss Metropolitan Opera tomorrow afternoon. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
One of old-time radio's longest-running and most popular programs, CBS Mystery Theater, is up next.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the exciting world of your own imagination. The lithe body, muscles rippling, seems suspended in air, twisted in its last agony. the goat legs flexed in their last spring. The beautiful boy's face transformed by a snarl of agony as the arrow bites through the back flesh to bury itself deep in the heart. This is a legendary bronze statue called the Dying Fawn. Legendary in more ways than one.
Jameson?
Miss Abbott.
Not any longer. This is my husband, David Cadelli.
How do you do, sir?
I've heard so much about you. It's my pleasure, Jameson.
Congratulations, Miss Abbott. I mean, Mrs.
Time for that afterwards. Are the others here?
Mrs. Abbott and Mr. Pierce arrived this afternoon.
Are they with him now?
No, Miss Sarah. Like you, they were too late.
Oh, no. You mean he's dead?
It was to be expected.
When?
The statue started to bleed the night before last.
Our mystery drama, The Bleeding Statue, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Patricia Elliott and Tony Roberts. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love, But give your allergy to contact.
Allergy is our business, too. We know pollen. And we know that any of the 12,000 quarts of air you breathe each day may contain enough pollen to make your eyes itch, make you sneeze, and drip. We also know an ingredient that helps block pollen's bad effects. It's the antihistamine most prescribed by allergy specialists. It's an ingredient in contact.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love,
The tiny time pills in one contact keep this antihistamine working up to 12 full hours. All day, all night.
Give your allergy to contact.
Take contact only when needed, only as directed.
If you love spaghetti like I love spaghetti, I know what you're looking for. So come on, get ready for great spaghetti at the spaghetti store. If you want spaghetti, the best spaghetti, you don't have to look no more. Get your taste buds ready for great spaghetti at the spaghetti store.
Here's a riddle for you. What has 6 different kinds of spaghetti? Chicken, mushroom, meat sauce, shrimp, meatballs, or a combination of any of the above?
Oh, that's easy.
And dinner prices from $2.10 to $2.85.
Still easy.
And additional selection from ravioli to steak.
That's not a riddle, that's a cross-examination.
Come on, what's the answer?
The spaghetti store. Now, here's one for you. What has blue eyes and a craving for spaghetti?
Paul Newman's stomach.
No, me, meatball.
When you come in, bring your appetite. There's one thing you know for sure. Great spaghetti we've got, and it don't cost a lot at the spaghetti store.
2731 West Northwest Highway. Also Arlington and Fort Worth.
What is more mystical than a statue? The wounded fawn. No one is sure that it was not originally chiseled in marble, that the bronze we know today was not taken from a long-lost original. Where it comes from, no one knows. Where it was perhaps best known to the public at large was in its last appearance, or disappearance, on the stage of the Palace Theater as the climax of the farewell tour of Prior Abbott, the Merlin of the magicians.
Thank you. And now, if you ladies and gentlemen will permit, my greatest illusion, the death of the wounded fawn. Park the curtains, please. There he is for the last time on any stage. I beg your pardon, dear audience, the second last time. For if I'm to make him disappear, I would have to make him reappear, and both in front of your very eyes. Observe the dying fawn. 1,440 pounds of cast bronze. I invite any member of the audience who questions this assessment of weight to join me on the stage. I only wish to know that all of you are ready to believe that this statue does have a life and volition of its own, for it is about to disappear before your very eyes. Concentrate, observe, be aware, and beware.
That was back in 1936, David.
15 years before I was born. 18 for you. How do you know about that final performance? You weren't there.
Neither was my mother. She was about 5 then.
Strange.
What?
I can't connect your grandfather. Now, what do I call him? Not what you do.
The wizard.
It's kind of corny.
Not for me. It was my mother's second marriage. I was 5 years old. Mother was about 28. He was 57. Much as I loved him and as full as life as he was, I never could call him Dad, and Grandpa would have been an insult. So, because of all the marvelous tricks he did, he became the wizard. Oh, David, you never saw anyone so young as the wizard, in body as well as in mind. That's why I can't believe...
Easy does it, baby. You've done your crying for him.
Oh, it's awful to think of him lying in that coffin, dead. I can't believe it isn't just another illusion, and when we go down to dinner that he won't have escaped like Houdini and be sitting waiting for us with a big smile.
I'm afraid even the wizard can't spring himself loose from this one. Oh, I'd better get my best bib and tie on to greet your relatives.
I wouldn't worry about them.
Well, I don't want to make too bad an impression. Your stepbrother's a pretty important man in my life.
Because he's president of Abbott's Tool and Machine. Oh, Pierce is just a figurehead. Now, there's only one man who could...
Come on now, Sarah.
I just can't believe he's dead. He was... Oh, David, you just had to have known him to understand. He was indestructible.
Darling, he was going on 76.
But he didn't look or act more than 50.
Well, you hadn't seen him in more than 2 years.
Well, yes. You're right, of course, but even then, even with a heart attack and my mother dying...
You don't have to tell me, Sarah. God knows he was a giant to me. But not as a magician, as an industrialist, an inventor, an innovator. I never knew all that came from being a... Well, it sounds crazy to put it this way, but a plain magician.
Oh, he was no plain magician. I've seen blueprints of some of his illusions, and they're more complicated than splitting the atom.
Hey, it's almost 7:30. Now, look, I've got to have at least a clean shirt.
Yes?
Excuse me, madam, but dinner will be served in half an hour.
We'll be right down, Jamie. He's always so formal.
Well, he kind of gives me the shivers. What was that bit about the statue starting to bleed?
Oh, that's a silly old legend.
You want to tell your silly young husband what?
But I think the wizard probably made it up for the act.
Well, I'm persistent if nothing else. Made up what?
Well, it's a very old statue, you know. Quite priceless.
Well, since it happens to be my hobby, I know as much about it as you. It's either fired from a mold of a Greek original in marble, or else it was commissioned by Cosimo de' Medici in the early 1600s and is possibly by Benvenuto Cellini himself. Right?
Right.
But impossible to authenticate?
That's right. But it did belong at one time or another to the de' Medicis and to some later kings of France, they say.
Whoever they are. And what exactly do they say?
That whenever the head of a household to whom it belongs is marked for death, the statue starts to bleed. don't want to be late for dinner.
No, we won't be. I just had to see this fabulous statue.
Well, there he is.
Wow. What a setting. He's magnificent, whoever the sculptor was.
He's sad. Poor wounded God.
God?
Come closer. Look at him. He's not just a fawn. He has to be Pan himself.
Without the horns.
Ageless, deathless, the spirit of youth and life. Just like the wizard. I never thought he could really die.
Hush, hush, baby. It's the only thing none of us can sidestep. Hey, where's this blood supposed to come from?
From the air wound, of course.
Right here? It's between the shoulders?
Oh, I suppose. I've never seen it. It's just a story, David. What is it?
It's nothing.
Let me see your hand. You touched the statue.
Look, it's just rust, darling, that's all.
Bronze doesn't rust, David. That's blood. Are you sure this is sherry, Pierce?
As advertised, and as always, nothing but the best.
It doesn't taste right somehow.
I doubt if anything will until we all find out just where we stand.
It's upsetting that he died so suddenly and unexpectedly. You don't suppose he could have left everything to Sarah? He couldn't do that to us.
Suppose he has.
I'll fight it tooth and nail. I'm his daughter.
Daughter-in-law, to be exact. I'm the last best hope. At least my father, your husband, was his son.
I hope he's recognized that in the will. And how do we handle this new husband Sarah has sprung upon us?
I've no idea. It's too bad the wizard didn't know about him before he kicked off. I doubt if he'd have reacted too well to some European opportunist who wanted to pick up a nice American girl with a lot of money in the family.
Well, he isn't here to react. It's up to us.
Pardon me, madam.
Yes, Jefferson, what is it?
Mr. and Mrs. Covelli have returned from the garden. Dinner is served.
Thank you, Jefferson. We'll be right in.
Well, shall we start reacting? Kiss the bride and meet the groom?
Well, since we all seem to have finished dinner, shall we retire to the drawing room for coffee?
And the moment of truth.
You can clear if you wish, Jameson.
Yes, Mrs. Abbott.
Oh, thank you, Jameson. I can pour the coffee, and Pierce will serve the liqueurs. And, Jameson, you can make your arrangements about the tape, whatever they are.
Very good, madam.
Will we have to come to the study to hear it?
No, madam. There are speakers in every room in the house, and I was instructed by the late Mr. Abbott that the tape would activate itself at exactly 9 o'clock this evening.
Activate itself?
Aye, Mr. Cavelli. You see, I don't know where it is.
You never knew my father, Signor Cavelli. In his later years, he was somewhat eccentric. Will you escort me to the drawing room?
No, of course, Mrs. Abbott.
Nutty as a fruitcake, she means.
Don't talk about the wizard like that.
You know, Sarah, you weren't around in the past few years.
I saw him 2 years ago.
Well,
that was right after his heart attack, and Mother's death right on top of that. Naturally, he was knocked out. But nothing could ever keep him down for long.
that's what you think. He buried himself alive here with Jameson. None of us saw him since the day you went back.
But he wrote me in Italy.
That's more contact than Mother and I had with him. It's a pity you went back to the art school.
Don't make me feel any worse than I already do. He made me go.
I thought you were the apple of his eye.
I also happened to be a carbon copy of my mother.
And the reminder was too poignant.
You think I'd have gone back to Italy otherwise?
There seemed to have been other attractions.
You mean David? I hadn't even met him then.
I wish you never had. I'd always hoped... I think the wizard hoped, too, that you and I...
Why, Pierce, you're my older brother.
Not quite. Not by blood, just by accident of the wizard's many marriages. Older, yes, guilty as charged. Is 16 years or whatever it is all that important?
Oh, come on, Pierce.
Oh, it didn't matter a hoot to the wizard and your mother. It was damn near double that with them.
It hadn't anything to do with age or family.
Just choice. Well, all right. Oh, well, let's go in, and on our way, why don't you tell me more of the man you did choose?
I suppose we really should have had espresso for you, Signor Cavelli.
No. Plain American coffee, Mrs. Abbott.
Oh, really? I thought all Italians like...
Mrs. Abbott, I'm not Italian.
Oh? Sarah met you in Rome.
Florence.
Well, Florence. And your name is Cavelli?
Well, that's right, but Italian-American. My father and I were both born in this country.
Oh, how nice. But you lived in Italy.
Well, my father was an engineer with United States Motors. 2 years ago, while I was studying to be an engineer at MIT in Boston, the company moved him to their plant in Torino. When I graduated, I went over to join them and met Sarah.
You said in Florence?
Yes, at the Piazza della Signorina, looking at the statues.
You knew, of course, who Sarah's father was.
Well, I knew who Prior Abbott was, but I never guessed that Sarah was his daughter.
Stepdaughter. The wizard actually only had one child.
Your husband, which makes you Prior Abbott's daughter-in-law.
What time is it, David?
It's just about 9.
Well, people, the moment of truth is almost upon us. I don't know about the rest of you, but I think I could do with something to calm the nerves. Brandy for anyone?
Oh, I have my coffee. I don't know.
Why don't you, darling? I might join you.
Why not? Signor Cavelli, would you help...
Since we are family, may we make it David?
Very well, David. Help Pierce get the brandies. I'll pour the coffee.
As you wish.
Tell me, Sarah, did the wizard know about this hasty marriage of yours?
It wasn't all that hasty. Except at the last moment.
You haven't answered my question.
No, the answer is no. But let me explain exactly what...
Ah, 'tis the witching hour.
Pierce.
Well, the whole thing is a bit spooky, Mother. Within seconds, all of us are going to face our futures, just where each of us is going, and all manipulated like puppets from beyond the grave. I wonder what particular trick the wizard has up his sleeve this time.
We're about to find out.
Pierce Abbott termed it the moment of truth. Are we to hear it from a disembodied voice speaking out of the past? And what will the truth mean for the 4 people sitting, awaiting that voice? I'll return shortly with Act 2.
When you say Budweiser, when you say Bud, you've said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say Bud, you've gone as far as you can go to get the very best. When you say Bud, you've said the word that means you like to do it all. When you say Bud, it means you want the beer that's got a taste that's number one. When you say Bud, you tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say Bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. There is no other one. There's only something less. Because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Matt Rayburn, left half for the Celtics. I'd like to invite you to bring the entire family out to see the Dallas Tornadoes play the Philadelphia Eagles on May 25th at Texas Stadium. The game is sponsored by sales and marketing executives of Dallas, and the money they raise will go to help young people like me. For ticket information, drop by the booth at Irving Mall or North Park, or call the Dallas sales executives at 747-9675. Don't forget now, Dallas Tornado soccer game at Texas Stadium, May 25th. I'll see you there.
For ticket information, call the Dallas Sales Executives at 747-9675. Soccer Spectacular, May 25th, Texas Stadium. Don't miss it.
Built in the late 20s, Abbott House is a Gothic castle perched on a promontory that juts out into the mouth of the Connecticut River. Now bathed in fitful moonlight, its flying buttresses and ornamental gables seem almost as much of an illusion as any of the great ones that made the immortal P.J. Abbott the beginnings of his fabulous fortune on the stage. An illusion of immortality fostered at this moment as his voice speaks from the grave.
Good evening, dear family. It almost seems like the good old days when I stepped out behind the footlights. Of course, in those days, I never dreamed that I would one day exercise my powers from beyond the grave. When you hear this, I shall be dead, my will signed, sealed, attested, and delivered to the hands of my attorney. It leaves everything I have completely and totally to my beloved Sarah, without let nor hindrance, now that she is 21 years of age.
Everything? How dare he?
Good God, what am I going to do?
Oh, no, I don't want it all.
Subject to these provisions, in the event that my daughter-in-law and her son will sign papers prepared by my attorneys waiving all right or claim to my estate, or legal moves to contest it, they will receive jointly an income yearly till their deaths of what I shall call 30 pieces of silver, the equivalent of $30,000. I further make it a condition that until the will is probated, that all three of you shall stay here at Abbott's house, nor shall any of you leave the grounds for any reason whatsoever.
He's crazy.
Don't ever say that about the wizard.
And just in case any of you question my sanity, my will is attested to by 3 objective psychiatrists who have found me sound of mind. And now for a few personal messages.
Let someone turn that off. I don't want to hear any more.
I've arranged there's no way for you to turn this recording off. I want you all to hear. Sarah, you and your mother were the 2 bright spots in my life. Your mother was taken from me. I don't think it was an accident, but I can't prove otherwise. So the best I can do is what I have done. But please, Sarah, whatever the others do, you stay here. For here, I promise you, you are safe. If ever you need help, run to the statue and ask for it. You will find it. A last good night from the wizard, who trusts you and loves no one but you.
Insane. Absolutely mad as a hatter.
What was all that about Sarah's mother?
He's trying to suggest that we had something to do with her death.
Oh, Sarah, I hope you don't think...
Yes. I don't want to think at all at the moment. I've been traveling for something like 16 hours and my head is splitting.
I'm a bit cross-eyed myself. If you'll excuse us, I think we'll turn in.
Yes, we're all a bit rocky.
Come on, Sarah.
Yes, David.
Will you excuse us, Mrs. Abbott?
Of course.
We're both really bushed.
Good night, Aunt Rose.
Good night. I'm not going to let him get away with it, Pierce.
Take it easy, Mother.
Not on your life. For that matter, on both our lives. That's what we're going to have to fight for, baby boy.
Oh, would you please stop that?
I'm sorry, Pierce, silly habit, but you're all I've ever had.
No, let's not start down that road.
No, you're quite right. That isn't what has to concern us at the moment. That little witch, that someone from nowhere, just like her mother. She's not going to take away Abbott's house and the business and everything else from us without a fight. It's ours.
Not if the wizard left the will he said he did.
Wills can be voided.
I wouldn't count on it. I'll take odds his can't be overturned. He's sure to have covered every angle.
Except one.
What's that?
The heir has got to be alive to succeed to the estate.
I think I'm too tired to get ready for bed. David?
What?
What are you staring at out the window?
That damn statue? It haunts me.
Why?
Oh, a lot of reasons. Sarah, I don't like this. I don't like any part of it.
What, David?
It's all so crazy. Statues that bleed and disembodied voices on hidden tape recorders. Your stepsister or whatever relation she is to you, and Pierce. The suggestion that your mother's death was... How did she die, darling?
Well, I was away. so I only know what I was told. The wizard had had a heart attack, and she'd been nursing him. She came downstairs and told them that she wanted a breath of air, and she went out...
Wait a minute. Who is them?
Them... Pierce and Rose and Jameson.
Where were they?
Rose and Pierce were in the drawing room. Jameson was in the pantry.
And none of them followed your mother?
Followed her?
How did she die?
I guess she had a sort of fainting spell. And she fell and hit her head somewhere on the statue. And while she was unconscious, she drowned in that little pool behind the statue.
You're sure of that?
Well, what else could have happened? There was a coroner's inquest, and a lot of newspaper stories, of course.
Then what do you make of your father's obvious accusation that they were responsible?
I don't know. Maybe they're right. That the wizard was never really himself again. Oh, David, I wish you could have known him. He was marvelous. The most marvelous person I ever knew. Before you.
Holy smoke.
What is it?
The statue, it isn't there anymore. It's gone.
What do you mean? Where?
Wait a minute. Cloud just drifted across the moon. As soon as it clears, you'll see.
But it couldn't just disappear.
But it did. There's nothing there but the empty pedestal. And the grotto and that little pool rippling in the moonlight. Wait a minute. That cloud's just about to clear and we're... I don't believe it.
Well, you'll have to. There it is, large as life.
But it wasn't there a moment ago.
Oh, darling, there must have been a tree branch in the way. How could it disappear? Oh, David, I'm just wrung out. I've got to go to bed. I just want to sleep away today. Do you mind if I use the bathroom first, dear?
Of course, darling. I want to run downstairs for a moment anyway.
Where are you going?
I won't be a minute. I left something in the car. I want to get it.
Oh, thank you for bringing me upstairs, Pierce.
That's all right.
What are we going to do about Sarah?
What do you mean?
Oh, now, don't play games with me. Are we just going to sit still for her taking over everything?
What else can we do?
We didn't when we thought it was going to be her mother.
Look, we got away with it once. We're not going to get away with it again.
We're going to have to. And within the next few days if we're going to.
Not here.
We don't have any chance anywhere else. The girl has got to die.
What good would that do us? The estate would go to her husband.
Her husband? Oh, now that's very interesting, Pierce. This young upstart, ambitious, carefully marrying a young girl without her family's knowledge, obviously anxious to make profit out of it.
What do you have in mind, Mother?
Why wouldn't he be just as anxious to get rid of Sarah as we are, Pierce?
We'd never be able to get away with convincing anyone of that. No, there's only one way.
How?
Now that Grandfather's dead, and we know the secret of the statue, I can fix it so it will seem to kill them.
Both of them? Was that necessary?
It's the only way.
There's nothing there now. Heaven knows it seems solid enough. I wonder... Who is that?
It's Jameson, sir. Miss Sarah was asking for you.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll be right in. Jameson.
Yes, sir?
You've been with the family a long time.
With Mr. Abbott, I was, sir. Nearly 55 years. I started out with him as an assistant in his magic days.
He was about the grand illusionist of all time, I guess.
No one better, sir. He was beyond peer.
And this statue was one of his better ones, huh?
Before it got cemented into place here at Abbott House, that's nearly 40 years ago.
But he used to make it disappear right on stage, didn't he?
Well, in a manner of speaking.
Well, what does that mean?
An illusion, don't you see? It never moved. It took 11 tons of mirrors and 14 helpers to make it happen. That was the old days. They won't come again. Magic's all gone.
Well, what about the rigmarole of the statue bleeding?
That's something else again, sir. That's way out of the past.
Well, I don't know. I thought I found blood by the arrow wound earlier tonight. It's dry now. It's been wiped off.
I don't know by whom, sir. What shall I tell Miss Sarah, sir?
You don't have to tell her anything. I'll go in with you.
When you're tired, fancy play strange tricks, Mr. Cavelli. I was thinking of making a toddy for Miss Sarah if she'd like it. There's nothing better for putting you off to sleep.
I'm sure I don't have to ask her. She'd love it.
And yourself, sir?
No, I'll skip the hot drink.
Maybe you'd like to join me in a nightcap, David.
Where did you spring from? The wall?
No, as a matter of fact, I was headed for the pantry here to ask Jameson to make one of his famous toddies for Mother.
And for you, Mr. Abbott?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm a cigar freak. Oh, Jameson, when you've made the drinks, I'll take them up.
Oh, that's all right, sir. I'm happy to be of service. I'll bring them up when they're ready.
Want to join me in a nightcap while we're waiting, David?
Okay. Just a quickie, though. Then I'll walk you upstairs.
Come on, Mother. I took the rest of the powder out of the sleeping pills for Jane.
It's right here, Pierce, but how are you going...
Sheer luck. Jameson is making a hot toddy for both of you girls. With this, I can fix Sarah's so she'll never wake up.
We can't get away with it.
Leave it to me. David and I just had a good night drink. I only had some chloral hydrate to slip in that. But he's going to wake up with a large headache tomorrow.
Dare we risk it?
We have no choice, Mother. We've got to go for broke. If we don't, I'm dead. And as you well know, I'm just selfish enough to make sure that everyone else goes before me.
David? Oh, thank the Lord it's you. Come here, darling. Quickly.
Sorry. I don't know. I gotta get to bed. What is it?
I just looked out the window again, and you're right. The statue just isn't there. It's completely disappeared.
Statue? Something about statue. Darling, I'm sorry.
What's the matter, David?
I'm down one drink. I guess I've one drink too many. I'm blind drunk.
Oh, I was the one who was sleeping before. Now I'm wide awake, and you're...
Jameson, bring you a nice hot toddy. Put you to sleep, like me.
David? No, David. Don't leave me alone. I'm scared. David, I don't know what I'm scared of, but I'm scared.
And well, she should be scared. For with David's collapse, the forces of evil, real and unreal, swarm about Sarah, threatening her very life. Perhaps most terrifying of all is the absence of the statue. For with it gone, and David drugged in sleep, where can she run to for sanctuary? I'll return shortly with Act 3.
Oh, somebody's been drinking my sugar-free diet 7-Up, and it's all gone.
Oh, actually, I saved a little.
Oh, a bear!
Hiya, Goldie. What's brewing?
That's Miss Goldilocks to you.
Oh, come on, kid. You mean you don't remember me? The cottage, the 3 chairs, the porridge?
Baby bear!
In the fur. Been a long time, Goldie.
But baby bear...
Just call me BB.
You drank all the sugar-free diet 7-Up, and I have to conduct another diet drink taste test today.
Well, yeah, I saw the sign on the door, a professional taste tester, huh?
But how can I conduct my taste test now?
Why bother? I tried those other diet drinks, too. You'll notice there's still plenty of them around. Why not ask me?
Well, okay, BB. Tell me, why did you drink all the sugar-free diet 7-Up?
I like the taste. Light, fresh, natural. Sugar-free diet 7-Up is definitely unbearably delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Where the roads unwind with travelers, with friends, with family. with people going places, seeing all there is to see. Where the ride is always sure and smooth, you'll find a trusted friend you've always known. It's Firestone. Firestone, Firestone, Firestone.
It's a super sale on a super tire, the Strato Streak Super Belt. Your Firestone sale headquarters has the Strato Streak Super Belt for as little as $20.95. Yes, $20.95 plus $1.88 federal excise tax exchange for the B78 13 size black wall. What a sale! Money stretching prices on a mileage stretching tire. Low sale prices on other sizes and white walls too. This sale won't last forever, so hurry into Firestone. Convenient terms available. Firestone for great prices on great tires.
Those scudding clouds that alternately mask and unmask the moon play a ghostly light across the long, curving staircase as Pierce Abbott descends it. The phial of lethal powder spilled from the sleeping pills hidden in his hand. Silently, he crosses to the swinging door of the pantry, edging it open slowly, disappointed to find Jamie facing him.
Yes, Mr. Abbott.
Oh, just wondering if the drinks were ready to take up.
We'll just have to add the hot water. Anything I can do for you, sir?
Oh, yes,
Excuse my back, sir.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Just getting the kettle?
That's fine. What did you say before?
I wondered what brought you down again, sir.
Oh, yes.
Anything I can help you with?
No, I thought perhaps I might have left my lighter down.
Ah, indeed you did. I put it right here on the tray with a glass for your mother.
Yes, thanks. Jameson, it's all right. I might as well take this tray up with me.
If you wish, sir.
All set, Mother. Here you are.
What is it?
One of Jameson's nice, uncomplicated toddies mixed by his own hand. As of this moment, he's delivering the same to Sarah.
The same?
He couldn't testify otherwise. His back was turned when I salted it.
With my barbiturate?
Enough to kill a gorilla.
We can't get away with drowning them the way we did her mother.
We won't even try to. No, they'll die quite differently.
How?
I've been experimenting with the statue, and I've made a discovery. It moves on hinges and counterweights and escapes into the pool. Take those hinge pins out, reduce the counterweights, and it will collapse and crush anything in the way of its fall.
The secret room would be exposed.
No, there's a false base which slides into place. The whole thing will seem nothing but a tragic accident. Another chapter to add to its legend.
When will you get them there?
Tonight, when everyone's asleep. Sarah may be dead already. David is dead weight, but I can drag them through the secret tunnel. It's mostly downhill. Come on, drink your toddy, go to sleep, and leave this to me.
I won't draw an easy breath all night.
By tomorrow, you'll be able to. We both will.
Oh, it's you, Jamie.
I thought you might like a little toddy before you turn in, Miss Sarah.
The Scottish panacea?
Not exactly, but it does make for a long, peaceful sleep.
I could use that tonight.
Your new husband didn't want any.
No, he's sound asleep already. Well, see you tomorrow, Jamie.
You'd better, or the old wizard would never forgive me.
I only wish he were here.
So do I, Miss Sarah. But don't you worry. Wherever he is, he's looking out for you. Turn the key in the door after I leave. You'll sleep sounder.
Maybe I'll do that. Good night, Jamie.
Good night, Miss Sarah.
All locked up, Jamie.
Hi, Mr. Abbott.
And off to bed, then.
Hi. Are you off yourself?
Hardly keep my eyes open. You've given Miss Abbott her drink, all right?
Oh, yes.
Did I what?
Did you get your mother's to her?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Well, this is where I leave you.
Up the wooden staircase?
My nightly climb.
Sleep sound, Jamie. Sorry, Jamie, old boy. I just have to make sure.
is it?
Don't turn on that.
Pierce, what are you doing with that pillow?
What are you doing awake?
Keep away from me. Pierce, keep away. I'll scream.
Won't do you any good. There's no one to hear.
David! David!
Ah, you might as well try to waken the dead.
Oh, no. He's not. He's not.
Not yet, just knocked out, but he will be.
You must be crazy.
Only desperate. It's the same thing.
Keep away from me. Keep away.
Sorry, Sarah. I have to.
Help me. Someone. Help me. Wizard. Wizard. Help me. Save me. You said to come to the statue. Help me.
There's no one to help you anymore, Sarah. No one.
It's moving. Help. Help.
You're safe, Sarah. Come quickly down into the vault.
Wizard. You're alive.
Quickly.
Damn you, grandfather. Can't you stay decently dead?
Damn you, son. Can't you stay decent?
I'll make you stay dead this time. I've gone too far to hang back.
I warn you, I won't hesitate to use the gun.
Then don't, or it will be too late.
Pierce! No,
No, I won't let you trick me again. The last trick is going to be mine.
Wizard, look out. The statue.
Too late. We all go together. There isn't anything I can do, Sarah. I can't budge it. Oh, my head.
Are you all right, darling?
I'm still woozy and my head is splitting, but... Oh, here comes Jameson.
Jamie, did you get the police?
Hi, Miss Sarah. They're on their way on an ambulance.
How's Mrs. Abbott?
I'm afraid she's...
Oh, poor Rose.
I wouldn't spare her much sympathy. She only got the drink that was meant for you. Thanks to Jamie.
I switched them. Is Mr. Abbott?
He's alive. Pierce is dead. Sarah.
Yes, Wizard? I'm here.
I have a lot. Apologies to make.
Don't worry about that now. Police, doctors, they're coming.
Too late.
No. Look, David, Jamie, if all three of us try, we can...
You couldn't move it an inch. I know it well, this old statue. Once I could move it with the flick of my hand. Make it appear, disappear. The magic's gone. This arrow, the wrong end, buried as deep in me as in the old wounded fawn. Things I have to tell you.
It's better not to try to talk.
Let him, Sarah. He wants to. Jamie, will you tell the most? Jamie, tell him about the last 2 years.
After his mother died, Miss Sarah, he was in a bad way. The heart mended physically, but it was still broken. And then he began to think and brood on it. And he was sure that Mr. Pierce or Mrs. Abbott had killed her.
But why would they want to do...
If your father had died, honey, all the money would have gone to your mother.
But Mother, or me for that matter, we'd have been willing to share.
Well, there was no way you could prove them responsible for Sarah's mother's death?
None.
And you dreamed up this crazy masquerade just to bring them out in the open?
No, I tell them, Jamie. A few months ago, Mr. Abbott discovered he had a carcinoma. The prognosis was very bad.
So, since I was scheduled to die, I decided to advance the date a little.
He was worried about you, Miss Sarah, and he wanted to protect you. He was afraid of Mrs. Abbott and Mr. Pierce after what happened to your mother. In this house, from his secret vault, there's a system of reflecting mirrors that lets you see what's happening in any room, and equipment to hear.
He knew he could protect you here and maybe unmask Mr. Pierce and his mother.
Oh, Wizard, I didn't need your money.
I couldn't have left it to them.
Rest, dear. Please. The ambulance will be here soon.
Too late for me, child. This is my real farewell appearance.
Wizard, please.
Sing no sad songs for me. I had it all. I leave it all. And I'm glad that in the final grand illusion, my old partner shares it. Funny. The day before you came, I cut my hand on this arrow buried in my chest.
It was blood.
Signaling the death of the head of the house. Now, Sarah, this statue will never bleed again. We die together, he and I. Now watch. I am about to disappear before your very eyes. Concentrate. Observe. Be aware. And all the rest is silence.
The statue, of course, did not disappear. Restored, it still occupies the grotto. Abbott House is a curiosity. Its periscope mirror system, its intricate sound wiring, its secret passages and subterranean vault, a mecca for tourists. And the statue doesn't bleed. Enough blood has been let, one hopes, to still the legend forever. I'll be back shortly.
Breakfast in the morning, Kellogg's has that wholesome taste to get you up and grinning.
This is Jerry Coffer for Kellogg's Special K. You know, for years we've been talking about the Special K breakfast, a great way to start the day if you have a weight problem. You may have seen or heard our latest commercials, which symbolize the problem of being a few pounds overweight by using this ball and chain. That's the sound effect. But so many people have come to know the Special K breakfast that can help solve weight problems, they sometimes forget that Special K is America's favorite high-protein cereal. It has 8 essential vitamins and iron, and so delicious that lots of folks, kids as well as adults, eat Special K just for the sheer good taste of it. So we don't want you to think that you have to wear a ball and chain to eat Special K. All you need is an appreciation for the finer things of life, a 1-ounce bowl of Special K, 4 ounces of skim milk, tomato juice, coffee, and maybe a little sugar. The Special K breakfast can help you lose weight all by itself, but it really is a good start.
I'd like to clear up a little misconception. And to do it, I'm going to take you through a Buick dealership. See, a lot of people are considering the purchase of a small car, but they might not consider coming to a Buick dealer to get it. That's a mistake. Because right here are all kinds of small cars, imported and domestic, with 4, 6, and 8-cylinder engines, with 2, 3, or 4 doors. Here's our biggest small car, the mid-size Century. It's pretty luxurious in there, but the size makes it practical, too. This one's our next smallest, Buick Apollo. Under this hood, there's a 6. Pretty handy these days. Yet because Apollo is a Buick, it has qualities you don't often find in cars this size. And this little rascal is Opel, 4 cylinders, and the best-selling car in Germany. You'll know why when you drive it. Well, there you have it. An impressive small car variety under one roof. At your Buick Opel dealer.
On sober reflection, one can't be too sure, of course, that a legend will die. They tend to persist. But since the head of the Abbott household is now Sarah, and she has at least 50 years ahead of her, few of us will be around to find out. Still, circa 2025, if you have nothing better to do, you might visit Abbott House. Our cast included Patricia Elliott, Tony Roberts, Grace Matthews, Kurt Benson, and Paul Hecht. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal, new sugar-free diet 7-Up, and Contact, the 12-hour allergy capsule. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Time to go back to Dodge City with Gunsmoke.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke, presented by Army in Europe magazine, a monthly feature magazine for the use of a soldier and civilian.
Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
Hello, boys. Can I bring you anything?
We're fine.
Oh, all right. You say hi if you want me. I'll be over there with the doc.
Thanks, kid.
Hiya, Doc.
Well, now, Kitty, it appears I'm not an invisible man after all.
I wasn't ignoring you, Doc. I was just too busy to say hello.
Oh, then it's not my advanced age and state of decrepitude.
Well, you'll never get old, Doc. You're too ordinary.
At least I hope I don't get so old a pretty girl won't say that to me, whether she means it or not.
Oh, I do mean it. Provided I'm one of the pretty ones that you're talking about.
One of them, Kitty. You are the most beautiful.
Come
on,
Kitty.
You and me are going to have a drink.
Now, look, Frank. I told you twice in the last hour. Now, leave me alone.
Don't you call me Sonny. Now, just a minute, young fella. You keep your pants on that chair, old-timer, and you keep your mouth shut. Old-timer, why, you...
Now, take it easy, Doc. Look, beat it, kid, before you get into trouble.
I said we're going to have a drink and I say so. Now, come on.
Let go of me.
What's the matter, Kitty? You having a little trouble here?
Matt, will you tell him to leave me alone?
The lady says keep your hands off, kid.
Now, don't you start calling me kid.
Now, what's your name?
Bravo. Just Bravo, that's all.
You're new in Dodge, aren't you?
Any law against it?
Not unless you keep acting the way you were a minute ago. What do you want me to do, Kitty?
Just get him out of here. He hasn't got enough sense to take no for an answer.
You heard her, Bravo. You better go someplace else.
You think you can push people around, don't you? Just because you're the law.
Nobody's pushing him.
You all think you're pretty smart. Calling me kid? Saying run along, Sonny? Or maybe I ain't fixing to run. Now, what do you think about that?
Bravo, you better quit while you're ahead.
I ain't appear to you. To nobody else. And I'll prove it to you. I'll just prove it to all of you.
Fine, you go ahead and prove it, but right. Bravo, you move your hand any closer to that gun, and I'll slap the teeth right out of your head.
You afraid to draw against me, Marshal?
You half-baked young idiot. Now, you give me that gun.
You stay back.
You ain't gonna treat me like no kid.
I told you to keep your hand away. All right, get up, Bravo. You're not hurt. Come on, get up.
You give me my gun.
You come around in the morning, you can have it back, provided you're cooled off and can show a little sense.
You made a big mistake, Marshal. You should have drawn on me when you had the chance.
It'll look different to you in the morning, Bravo. Now, you go somewhere and sleep it off now. Huh?
Sure. Run along, Sonny. Is that what you're saying? Well, I'll tell you something, all of you. You're going to be whistling a different tune before I leave this town. You just wait and see. You're going to be a mighty sorry man, Marshal, before I'm through.
Say, I'd hate to meet one like that very often, Matt.
He's a scared kid, Doc. That's what's wrong with him. And he's scared mostly that somebody will find it out.
Well, chances are he'll leave town without even coming around to get his gun.
No, Kitty, he'll be around to get it. Before he leaves town, he'll use it.
What do you mean, Matt? Use it on who?
Me, more than likely.
You know, Mr. Dillon, late at night like this is the best time of the whole day.
I agree, Chester. It does look better in the dark, doesn't it?
Well, yes, sir, but it ain't only that. Things quiet down about this time of night. Folks goes to bed and kindly put their meanness away for a while.
Oh, maybe some of them do.
Dust gets a chance to settle. The breeze comes in off the prairie all fresh and cool. The stars comes out. The moon
Wait a minute, Chester.
What's the matter?
I thought I heard something. How'd you hear that?
It sounds like somebody groaning.
Yeah, come on.
Well, look. There's somebody laying over there on the ground.
Strike a match, Chester.
Yes, sir. Why, that's Wally Sturk.
Yeah. Looks like he's coming around. Wally. Wally. It's Matt Dillon. Are you all right? Wally. Can you hear me, Wally?
Marshal?
Yeah. What happened?
I don't know. Somebody hit me back of the head.
Who was it?
I don't know. I was in the Long Branch playing poker. And I come out and started down the street. My money. Where's my money? I had more than $100 I won in that poker game.
Well, from the way your pockets is turned inside out, I doubt you've got it now.
Somebody was laying for me out here in the dark.
It sure looks that way.
I know it better than to stop and talk to her.
Talk to who?
Gina Preble. She stopped me and started making up to me.
And then somebody slugged you from behind.
That's right.
And it's happened around her before. Gina knows a lot of little tricks like that.
You mean she set me up for it?
Like a possum up a tree.
Hey, you think you can stand up, Willie?
Yeah, I think so. Come on, give me a hand. I bet the man that done it's that fella she's been hanging around with lately.
What fella?
I don't know, some young whippersnapper, calls himself Bravo.
This it, Mr. Dillon?
The landlady said the third door back.
That landlady's a caution.
Well, it's that kind of a place, Chester.
My.
Yeah? Who is it?
It's Marshal Dillon. I want to talk to you, Gina.
Just a minute.
You better stand back, Chester. He may be in there with her.
Yes, sir.
Well, it ain't every day the marshal comes calling on a girl.
You mind if we come in, Gina?
Well, Marshal, I was just...
Thank you. Are you here alone?
Who's there, Gina? Who you talking to? Oh.
Hello, Bravo.
And what'd you let him in for?
He just come in, Bravo. I couldn't do nothing.
What's the idea, Marshal?
Which one of you has the money?
What money?
The money you took from Wally Stirk.
We don't know nothing about that.
What are you up to, Marshal?
You made a mistake, didn't you, Gina? Wally Stirk knows you. You always used to pick strangers when you were working it with your old partner.
What's he talking about?
I don't know, Bravo. I don't know nothing about it.
What partner?
Nobody.
His name was Big Red. Gina was pretty friendly with him till I ran him out of town last year.
Well, I didn't know what kind of man he was.
Didn't you?
Gina, where'd you go tonight when you was out so long?
No place. I just talked to some friends like I told you.
Weren't you with her, Bravo?
No, I wasn't. What friends, Gina?
Just some girls I know that work down at the Long Branch and some other places down the street.
You weren't in the Long Branch when you ran into Wally Stirk. You were in the alley.
I'd been there, though. I was coming home, taking a shortcut, and Wally stopped me.
Oh? He says you stopped him.
I just said hello, and he wanted to talk.
And while you were talking to him, somebody stepped up behind and slugged him in the back of the head.
I don't know nothing about that, Marshal.
You were there.
It was dark. I didn't see nothing.
It wasn't that dark. Now, who did it, Gina?
He'd kill me. He said he'd kill me if I told anybody.
Who's going to kill you? Now, what are you talking about?
I didn't want nothing to do with him, Bravo. Honest, I didn't. I was scared to death when I heard he was back, and then he found me and he threatened me.
You mean Big Red, huh?
He'll kill me if he knows I told you.
You know where he is now?
Yeah.
You rotten little sneak.
You didn't know him, Bravo. He's tough and he's mean. And you're just a kid, and I didn't want you to get hurt.
Get out of here,
Chester. Take her outside. Huh?
Come on, miss.
Bravo,
Get out.
Kill me.
Go on, Gina. I'll be out in a minute.
All right, Marshal.
You know, you pushed me just as far as you're going to, Marshal. Now you made it, so I'll be a laughing stock all over town.
You shouldn't have taken up with a girl like her, Bravo.
And you shouldn't have been born. I'm going to prove that to you, Marshal. It's the last thing I ever do.
You know, Bravo, the next time you make a move toward that gun of yours, it probably will be the last thing you ever do.
You're going to pay, Marshal. You're going to pay plenty. I'll show you what I am.
You don't have to show me, Bravo. I already know.
Hey, you want to play another game, Matt?
Doc, how many times do I have to beat you before you give up, huh?
Well, the cards have been running against me, that's all.
Sure.
Just one more, Matt.
Oh, all right. Go ahead and deal them.
Yeah.
Hey, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind going over to Sam's place and bringing some supper for the prisoner?
All right, sir. Oh, be all right if I get me a little snack while I'm there?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. And who have you got locked up, Matt?
A man called Big Red. He's waiting trial for robbing Wally Stirk a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, I figure he'll be convicted on the evidence. He should have been sent up years ago.
Mm-hmm. No. You look at this hand.
Well, it should be a good one, Doc. You dealt it.
You claiming I stacked the deck?
Oh, not yet. I'll just wait and see how the hand turns out.
I never saw such a poor loser in all my born
I haven't lost yet.
Well, you're sure going to, though. Why, with the hand I've got here... That was our back, man.
You stay here, Doc.
Now, watch yourself.
Hold it, Marshal. Right where you are.
Bravo.
Don't you turn around. It's the gun I got in your back. And I'll take that gun of yours, if you don't mind.
What are you up to, Bravo?
I'm riding out tonight, Marshal. And I'm leaving this town something to remember me by. I just killed Big Red.
What?
I shot him through the cell window. Just like a setting prairie dog.
You crazy fool.
Now, I'm going to put on a show for the boys at the Lone Branch. I'm going to make their marshal dance for him.
I've given you all the chance I'm going to, Bravo. You had your last warning.
Ain't you forgot something, Marshal? This is a gun I'm holding in your back. Now start walking. Just keep walking, Marshal.
You're heading down a rough road, Bravo, and this is about your last chance to turn back.
Straight ahead.
You're a fool, kid.
Don't you call me kid. Not after what I'm doing tonight. Go on. Inside. Well, good. We got a nice big crowd.
Hello, Max. I didn't expect you back tonight.
Kitty, stay clear of him. He's got a gun.
What?
Run along, girlie. Maybe I'll find time for you later.
Look, Bravo. I didn't mean what I said the other night. Why don't you let him go?
Beat it.
Look, you and me can get out of here. We can go somewhere and we can talk.
I know what you're up to. Now beat it.
You better do what he says, Kitty.
All right, man.
Straight ahead, Marshal. Right out in the middle of the floor. We want them all to get a good look at this. I'm going to show them something they won't forget. All right. Now, this ought to do real fine. Listen, everybody. Listen, I got something to show you, man. You all know this man. But I bet you didn't know he could dance, now did you? I got the marshal right where I want him. You know something? He don't even look halfway big no more.
All right, stay back, everybody. He just killed Big Red.
You all thought I was a kid. Well, what do you think now?
They'd still think it, Bravo. And a scared one to boot.
You shut up, Marshal.
You killed Big Red, but why don't you tell him how? He shot him through the cell window, and Big Red didn't have a gun. That's how brave this kid is.
Stop calling me that.
And he ambushed me, hid in the dark, and stuck a gun in my back.
You're sure asking for it, Marshal.
Go ahead and shoot, kid. You wanted to prove something to him. That'll prove plenty. An unarmed man in the back. You're a sneaking yellow coward, Bravo.
You shut up.
You want them to remember you? They will, all right. They'll hang a name on you before you even get out of town. Shot 2 men in the back because he was afraid to stand up and call them.
I ain't afraid.
All right, prove it then. You put my gun back in the holster and you stand up and face me.
You think I'm crazy?
No. I just think you're scared. And so does everybody else here.
That's a lie.
Well, look at him. Can't you tell?
All right. All right, there's your gun. Don't you turn around. Not till I get across the room. Don't you move till I get over here. And I'll tell you when.
Now, Bravo?
Sure.
You keeping your own gun in your hand?
Sure I am. But you got one in your holster now. So you can't say I'm killing an unarmed man.
All right. That's the way you want it.
Don't move yet, Marshal.
Bravo, you're under arrest for murder. Now you drop that gun.
Not hardly.
Are you all right, Matt?
Yeah, I'm all right, Kitty.
You sure didn't prove much today.
prove one thing, Kitty.
What?
That a bullet will kill a man.
And he had to die to do that.
Yeah.
Gunsmoke. Produced and directed by Norman McDonald. Stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Featured in the cast were Parley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. George Walsh speaking. Join us again next week for another specially transcribed story on Gunsmoke. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.